That's good. That's good. That's good.
But you can feel free to talk about it. Talk about what he said. All I've seen is his tweets on the subject. It's funny because like he tweeted about it, and then I think some people responded and were like, "Well, just don't play the game. Why do you care?" And he's like, because I was one of the original developers.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the first thing we talk about. So, yeah. Before we do that, let me open up the show. Welcome, everyone, to the Vomitorium. I don't know, what are we on? I think we're on 80. I think we hit another 10s milestone. We're on episode 80. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. It also reset my camera orientation, so I'm not flipped on our end or I am flipped or mirrored on our end this time, so I won't be flipped on yours. I really hate how they do this stuff, but my right is gonna be this time. Yeah.
Well, hey, you're back in the pink room.
I am. I'm back in, honestly, my comfortable setup, because I have like room for everything. Here's my second monitor. This one facing the cameras on that. That's why we get this nice angular cut where the door is and stuff. Laptops in front of me. Everything's golden. We're back in business for whatever it is.
Yeah, and you'll have to excuse me if I'm like rubbing the sweat off my face, because for some reason the air conditioning in my house is very strange, because this happens a lot. Like every house I've ever lived in, the thing that measures what temperature it is out in the hall, but it doesn't measure the temperature in all the rooms, obviously. So it's weird. Like it'll turn on, the rooms will all get very, very cold, and then eventually the hallway will cool off and it will shut off, and then the rooms have to get very, very hot for it to register. Oh, I need to turn back on again. So.
Me and my brothers used to cheat growing up. Instead of like touching the thermostat or anything, because you know how dads and stuff get when you do that. What we used to do is we used to get like a mug, put water in it, and put it in the microwave, and then we'd like walk over and just hold the mug underneath the thermostat, let the steam hit it.
Yeah, it's weird, and I feel like, well, I've tried. There's a vent in the ceiling back here that I've tried like closing and opening, and there's like another vent in the bathroom, and I'm like, is there any way I can manipulate those to get it to be more? But nothing seems to work. So just right now it is very hot. Yeah, probably. But I turned it down. I had to turn it down to 68 to get it to turn back on again. So hopefully the next few minutes
the problem with the fan, that all of us streamers and content creators, I've been in this problem in the past too, is that you try to fine tune everything so you don't have any excess noise. Like even right here, I'm so close to the mic because I have the gain turned down, so you don't really hear the fan from my computer and all kinds of different things. Anytime you add an element like that, that's one more thing you have to try to mitigate. And fans that keep you cool can get loud as fuck.
Yeah. And that's I just did an unboxing that I just published, and I watched it and I noticed, you can hear my PC fan, which is right down here. Like, oh man, oh well. That's the downside to, someone was saying, oh, your webcam microphone is really good, and it is, but the problem is it picks up a lot of ambient noise.
Yeah, unlike this where I can fine tune things a lot easier.
Yeah, it's a decent microphone, but it is way over here, and there's no way for me to, if I tweaked it like that, then you wouldn't be able to hear me.
Yeah, you just need to pick up like a Yeti or something next time they're on sale.
Clearly.
Yeah, but they're pretty good mics for like entry-level mics, or if you're never going to do anything spectacular, like you could get into voice acting with them, but I wouldn't recommend somebody who's like a professional use it. They could get a much better setup. But if you're just like a Twitch streamer who needs a good mic that's easy to fine tune, perfectly cheap starting thing.
Does it just sit on your desk? It's not like clipped on anywhere?
Oh no, this it's got a stand. with like foam on the bottom too to help like absorb some of the shock and like reverb sounds and everything. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You can put it like it's fully mountable and stuff, but it comes with a stand that can just sit right on your desk.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where I guess I don't know, because I have my keyboard right here. Where do you put it in your keyboard?
Oh, well, my keyboard, right now I actually have this on a tray. So my keyboard's all the way over here. I'm working the best with the space that I got.
I guess, I'd have to figure out where to put it if I'm playing a game or something that requires, although most of the games I play just require a controller, so I don't really have to have a keyboard right here. I could just...
Yeah.
I know, it's one of those things, but it's like, it's hard to...
there's also the streamer edition of the Yeti that actually comes with a mount, so you can actually, the crane mount.
Yeah. And the only downside to that is this desk doesn't really have anywhere to clip. It has some like lips here, but I don't know. Well, I'll have to shop around. The problem is, what I was going to say was, it's hard to justify the cost when my webcam mic does work very well. It's just like...
What you need is just like a boom mic. That's all you need, like the actual boom handle.
Yeah, like that sits on the ground or something?
Yeah. Just like... It has like almost like a traditional mic stand, but then also has the boom handle for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can bring it in here.
Yeah. Or you know what? Just get like a stage mic stand, right? And just have it sitting next to you, pulled up right next, You'd have it like sideways facing right at your face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to bring it down and be like, let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
So, hey, Pastry's in here, says hey-o, and Eagle says elbow cough. Or dash, whatever.
So, it's time to get down to business. Brass tacks about the ass. We've got a very, very particular thing to start this episode with that we were talking about as we were rolling in. And it's something that honestly shouldn't be that big of a deal if you were to just like casually say what the problem is to like somebody on the street. But there's a lot of reasons why this is a big deal. And it is probably not even just the changing of the design of the Amazon in Diablo 2, because that's the start. We haven't seen everything yet. But specifically, they changed the design of the Amazon in Diablo 2.
Yeah.
And I'll be frank, they replaced her with a man.
Yeah, they did. I mean, when you look at the just the in-game model, obviously it's like that big. So all you can see is like parts of her are covered up more than before.
But you get like a huge zoom in when you're selecting your character.
Yeah. When I saw the zoom, and so at first I was like, all right, they gave her a longer skirt, whatever. But then I saw the zoom in, and I was like, that's a man. That's not a woman. It's barely even like a mannish woman. It's just a man.
Yeah, pretty much. And so here's the thing about Diablo, and I was watching, was it Mark Kern's stream, Grums. He used to work at Blizzard. He's known specifically for the guy who got fishing into Warcraft, or no, World of Warcraft specifically. Yeah, it's a really big deal is getting fishing into World of Warcraft. But he's worked at.
And funny, you hate to go off on a side track. You hate fishing, right? You hate that aspect.
I never got into it. Like I couldn't say whether I liked it or hated it. It's not something I really ever did. Yeah,
my girlfriend loves fishing in any game, like not in real life, but in any game. Mm-hmm. Like if a game X has fishing in it, she loves it. She's like, any game that has, I don't know why, she just loves fishing.
Well, whether or not a game has fishing and how it handles it is really just a tell for the rest of the game.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's funny. She's obsessed with fishing. She's like, she used to be very obsessed with WoW and did a lot of fishing. Yeah. And then she got into, she loves Animal Crossing, has great fishing.
Oh, Animal Crossing does have amazing fishing because it's so simple.
Yeah.
And it can keep you occupied for like hours on end.
Yeah. And Fantasy Life, I don't know if you've ever played Fantasy Life, but it has like a big aspect. In fact, you can be a fisher profession. That is one of the professions that you can be. Yeah. And there's a whole like mini game around fishing that's way complicated stuff. So anyway.
Yeah. I think my favorite fishing was probably everybody's favorite, or at least most nostalgic fishing, is Ocarina of Time as an adult.
Yeah, I don't remember what the deal was with the fishing in that.
You were trying to get the largest fish you could get a heart piece.
Right. And so did you just have to hook on as soon as, like, or just press a button whenever?
Yeah, pretty much. The casting replaced your sword when you went in there because you were renting it, and you cast it, and it was very similar to like Animal Crossing, but instead of like a single cast, when it grabbed, you were then in like a real mini game where you were like letting it slack pull in, almost like most fishing games were.
It's been so long, I can't remember. I more recently played Twilight Princess, and the fishing in that is a bit janky. It's hard. It's a bit complicated. Although I love the fishing in Link's Awakening.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Actually, most people hate it from what I hear, but I liked it.
Really?
Yeah, well, at least most people I knew, because I was a kid when I played that game. So everybody else that I was talking to were also kids, and kids are pretty bad at things in general.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll have to go back. I don't remember what it was like exactly in the original. It's been a while, but they greatly improved it, I thought, in the remake. Although I never could get a cheap. Like, yeah. I still to this day have not been able to reel in the cheap without my line breaking.
Yeah. Anyway, before that tangent, he was also, Mr. Grumps, the producer / representative for Diablo 2 at the Blizzard main headquarters, right? Blizzard North made the game. He was the producer on the game at the Blizzard main headquarters. He was basically the guy who relayed everything to HQ and back. He was the middleman between them, as you often need. Basically being like an EIC, like an editor role. And a lot of this stuff wasn't like his particular problem with the game or anything. Like he was attached to anything, but he had to fight on the behalf of the Blizzard North people, who were very much attached to everything they were doing, and he agreed with them on everything they were doing. According to this, he did a stream about this a couple days ago, and I was watching him talk about it. And specifically, the design of the Amazon for like a couple days straight was something that they fought over, because the whole point of Diablo was that it was supposed to be a very adult game, and not like in the kind of like rated X type of way that adult game, but it was a mature game in a very dark and gritty environment. It wasn't supposed to be family friendly or anything like that. It was what it was. And part of it, blood and gore, and sexualization was actually a big part of the game. Like, anybody who worked on the game will outright tell you sexualization was part of the darkness of that game. And the Amazon was part of that. And they wanted to, like, change the Amazon's ass, either cover it up or not make it as big and stuff like that. And they fought over the design of the Amazon, like, valiantly. So he couldn't imagine that anybody who was involved in the original game would be okay with this. Maybe they are, because people change over time. A couple of the people may still be involved in this, but...
And this was in 2000 is when it was originally released.
That was a long time ago at this point. We're talking 2 decades.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're doing the remaster, and just like World of Warcraft 3, they're fucking it up.
How do you fuck it up, man? Like, I knew they were going to, because at this point, Blizzard is Blizzard in name. It's more Activision than anything, and it's all the same practices that Activision had with Blizzard's name on things, using Blizzard's IPs and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yep. I mean, people would be happy with just a graphical update. I mean, I guess that's part of the problem, but like, just make the same thing but better. Just more higher quality graphics. Don't change things.
Well, that's been my complaint with all of these things. At least these are still just remastering. Like, the game is still, as far as I can tell, playing exactly the same. It's not as bad as, like, rewriting all of Final Fantasy VII when all we wanted was a graphic update.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they went, like, the opposite direction, though. Everything in Final Fantasy VII Remake looks really nice, and probably the way that it should. It's the gameplay that's the issue there.
Right. They completely changed it. It's, like, not even an RPG anymore, is it?
No, it is. It's just, it's more of an action RPG. But, like, Diablo is the same game. It's just they're ruining the aesthetic, and most of what was Diablo was the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. I mean, are they toning down? I know that they have to. Well, at least I know they have to consider China, and China doesn't allow things like skeletons and probably not excessive blood and gore.
Yeah.
So are they doing that in the American version, or are they doing a different version?
I haven't, because we're only getting bits and pieces of it now. We're not getting, like, obviously a full of anything. He was even talking about that too. Talking about, considering China, this is the worst move you can make for China, because in Asia they love their like feminine women. They don't even have to be ultra sexy, but they have to be feminine. They really want, like, feminine women. Of course, I replied to Grums too when he said that. It's like, no, every audience wants feminine women. This crowd specifically just doesn't want to admit that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was just amazing to me that the zoomed in version was not a woman. It was literally they gave her a man's face.
Well, yeah, and a man's shoulders and body, and I didn't even see hips on it.
Yeah, it's like, what are you afraid of? Like,
what do you want me to do? Dress a dragon, do the hula?
I know. They're afraid of portraying an actual woman. Like, it seems, from my perspective, this is not even sarcasm or snark. It seems damn misogynist.
Yeah,
to be
I would say so. Yeah,
we can't portray an actual feminine woman. Like, that is bizarrely misogynist.
I'll tell you, as a mythology expert, do you know what the two things Amazons are known for?
Chopping off one of their boobs.
Well, they're known for being great warriors, like fierce in battle, and being beautiful. Beauty is actually one of the descriptions of the Amazons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean,
that also is a weird part of mythology. Like, chopping off one of your boobs does not help you aim a bow and arrow any better. That's
is that a myth?
You're like, well, because you have to draw it close to your body. No, that doesn't help at all.
Something tells me also that, I don't know. Did Amazons actually exist?
No, they're myth. They're the, like, Grecian equivalent to the Valkyrie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, but I mean, based in ancient mythology, though, I can't imagine that they were very good at doing things like a mastectomy and not having the person die of an infection.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, like in real life, but because these things were basically gods. They were lesser deities. They didn't have to worry about stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Buck makes excellent point. The new developers are soy boys who are so afraid of women they can't even stand to make models with boobs.
Yeah.
Or a woman's face.
Yeah. Like they honestly, I don't think anybody would complain if the Amazon was, say, flat-chested, as long as she still looked like a woman. Flat-chested women exist.
Well, that's what I was saying, was that, like, the model, looking at it, it was so small. It was like, all right, you know, I can see that they've covered it up, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But then when you zoom in on the face and it's actually a man, it's like, what the fuck, dude? That is bizarre.
Well, you know, that's actually one of the reasons why, especially with Blizzard, so many of the characters were so top-heavy back in the day, or just so buxom in general with wide hips. It was because the models were so small, you had to be able to clearly tell this was a woman from the tiny model. So they had to exaggerate the features. Yeah. It's not necessarily so much of a problem now, especially because you can always zoom in. But that's the real reason. It's not like they're like, oh, we got to make these women like as plump as possible, or you know. They were doing it so you could tell it was a woman at a distance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you only had so many pixels to work with. But, you know, I don't know if I hate or love the responses about, I mean, it's always the response of, oh, you can't fap to it or something like that. It's like, I've never even imagined popping in Diablo and actually being aroused by anything.
Oh, yeah.
Diablo.
Well, especially, like, I played a lot of these games before I even hit puberty. So it's like, you know, I was never fapping to any of these characters.
Yeah, it's like, you know, there's something to be said about any media being aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, especially a visual media.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, visual media. You know, whether it's video games or movies or whatnot, like, you can enjoy and embrace and prefer a video game or a movie that includes aesthetically pleasing women or men without it being explicitly sexual. I mean, it may be explicitly sexual on the screen, but to the person enjoying the media, that's not the point. The point is, I mean, especially since, like it or not, men are the target audience for a Diablo game. A lot of women like it. That's fine. That's great.
Yeah, but they're like, I think 15 to 18% of the audience. That 15 to 18% is great. Yeah.
But the target audience has always been, continue to be men, and men are visual.
Yeah.
You know, and
men between the age of 15 and 21.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
no, that was the original audience. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and I was about 21 when it first came out, or 22 or 3 or something like that.
Well, you're gonna get outliers on either end.
Yeah, but we don't become, you know, I'm old, I'm not dead. So I still enjoy it.
Well, I'm just saying that with the edginess too, that was specifically the audience they were trying to attract, was 15 and 21. You get people outside of the target audience wanting to play it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was too young to be playing it. That didn't stop me.
We need to get. I mean, it's crazy how we've gone backwards in terms of, you know, social norm. It's like things like this, jiggle physics, as Buck brings up, should be acceptable now. You know, like in modern day, in current year, we should be beyond the point where everybody's freaking out about jiggle physics or whatever. Like,
yeah. Well, they've gotten so much better too. Like, I understand, and the understanding is that people didn't understand when they started including jiggle physics, which applied to a lot more than just the breasts. If you look at, say, like Bob from Tekken, when they first started rolling that stuff out, the fat on his body would change as well. It was just anything that, it was a physics engine. They were trying to make things more realistic with gravity. Clothes would sway more. But because it was new, everything was reacting over the top. You couldn't fine-tune things yet. It was either turn it on or turn it off. Now, everything just, like, feels normal in most games, right? Like, you don't even notice hair sways in the wind. Things have been almost perfected in that regard.
Yeah. Except for the mouths in the Final Fantasy V.
Yeah, I don't know.
They screwed that up royally. But Yeah. So what did I mean? So Grum's, like you said, Mark Kern. All I saw, I didn't get to see the video yet. I'll watch it later.
Yeah.
But on Twitter, I know he was saying like, "This is personal. I don't like this." And then it's funny because, like I was saying, people were responding saying, "Oh, what do you care? You know, just don't play it or whatever." He's like, "Well, I was one of the original developers." So
yeah. Like he has a little what's it called? He's got a dog in this race, you know, dog in this fight, horse in this race, whatever you want to mix together.
So what did he say anything more in the video?
No, I mean he just kind of like expanded on that for a while, and just talking about, you know, it is their property. They're free to do whatever they want with it. He just can't imagine that the original artistic intent of the team is aligned with this. And he cares more about them than him because, again, he was just the producer there, right? Like, he was the one that was at the main office. Every change went through him, back and forth. He was like the middleman between everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's he was like, Blizzard North, you know, they worked their ass off on this game. You gotta fight for them.
Well, you gotta wonder, you know, I'm sure some of this came from up on high, but at the same time, I'm sure some of the developers gladly went along with it because
probably, yeah.
It's just
well, you gotta look where Blizzard
bizarre,
is, right?
In my opinion, misogynistic mentality now. It's like you know, people pretend that games were, you know, that the gaming, you know, whatever community or industry was problematic before. It's getting way more problematic now.
Yeah. Well, because gaming, it's always kind of been the in crowd. It was something he did talk about on the stream, too, like how development used to be. And anybody watching the stream, you'll actually see him replying to me several times because I was bringing up some good points from the chat. But I said that the indie gaming community, with developing and stuff, actually has more of the spirit of development as the more like, at this point, antiquated like part of the industry, the historical gaming industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because everything else has become too corporate, you know.
Blizzard used to be one of the indies. I mean, it was like
at one point
the top indie company back in 2000.
They were just a small studio making games. But that's one of the big problems, too, is, again, everything becoming so corporate, and everything that's going corporate's going this way. Not necessarily with, like, woke stuff or anything like that, but just the sanitization of everything. It's just a corporate thing that happens. And they become dead. Like, you lose the spirit of whatever you're working on, because you have a board of investors that you are responsible to at this point. And that's why they have to reach out to the lowest common denominator, the widest market you can find, the normies. While games used to not be marketing towards normies, they were marketed towards whoever the hell would buy them.
Well, and I don't even understand that because this doesn't sell to normies.
No, they don't know
a woman that looks like a man. That's crazy.
There's too much noise for you to know that, you know?
I think, yeah, like they're listening to people on Twitter, which is not maybe the mainstream. That's not, you know, what most people. It's crazy. You know, then Elric brings up. I wanted to ask about this. I don't know if he addressed this. Elric says, "My favorite class was the Necromancer. Just send in a horde of skeletons to wipe out a room while I wait outside for 10 to 15 seconds." Are they even including the Necromancer?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
I heard
they haven't done the preview for it.
Yeah, I heard a bad rumor that they might cut the Necromancer out.
China would not like the Necromancer, I'll tell you that.
China would not, yeah. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it other than there's a rumor, which may not be true, hopefully, that they're not going to include the Necromancer, which is bizarre.
I always like the Demon Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And the freaking crossbows and stuff. That was my class. I liked the Demon Hunter.
Yeah. Now the Necromancer was added in the expansion, right?
I don't know. It's been so fucking long.
Yeah, I think he was added with the whatever it's called, the expansion that they did. That added a 5th chapter. But I mean, if they did something similar where it was DLC, okay.
Just don't release the DLC to China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that. That's a possibility. I don't know if I would even bother with the DLC. I don't think I ever played as a Necromancer. I didn't play that much, but I definitely played as the Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, the Amazon was a fun class.
Yeah. Yeah, if you like to do what is it? Give me a wrench, like not people out. If you like to kill things at range, that was a good class. It's a little bit weak, defensively, but that's the point.
Yeah.
It was more of a hunter, leather armor type class.
It's
I don't know what you
a
call
really good class if you're playing with people. It kind of put things on hard mode until like the end of the game when your DPS gets a lot higher. If you're playing solo, you kind of have to like skirt around and pick good positions early on. But if you're playing with somebody else, like that's the class to be if you've got like a tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Bullet. The region-specific content is a slippery slope.
It is.
We're just talking about. We're
already
so,
there.
Yeah, I'm not saying I approve. Yeah. I'm just saying that is a likely possibility. I would say.
Yeah, I definitely don't approve. I'm just not maybe a likely possibility for this game, but talking about it being a slippery slope. There's already region-specific content in games in the current world.
Yeah, World of Warcraft, they've removed skeletons specifically for China because it's against the law.
Yeah, there's
personally,
League did it too. The you can't really tell too much for some of the characters by scrolling down on them because again the models are so small. But the splash arts for some of those characters, they kind of like went all black mage style in Final Fantasy and like blacked out their faces and just have eyes there, so you can't tell they're skeletons.
Yeah, it would be a bummer though if for people like Elric's sake, if the Necromancer, definitely if it wasn't in at all, but even if it were DLC that you actually had to pay extra for, that would be a bummer.
Yeah.
Sadly, Diablo 2 is like one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm probably going to buy it, sadly. I didn't buy the Warcraft 3. Yeah, definitely. I didn't buy the Warcraft 3 remaster because that was never... I mean, frankly, I think the original holds up pretty well still.
Yeah.
And I'd rather
play
the original.
Play it anytime.
Yeah, with Diablo 2, I'd be happy to play the original as well, but there's something like the graphics are, I believe it's an older game, and the graphics just don't hold up quite as well in my opinion. So I would really like to play the remaster. It's just a bummer that they're screwing it up.
I probably won't get it.
So I understand.
Yeah.
Totally. Because I mean the original does hold up.
Yeah, it does.
Very well. I played it recently. It's great still, but I just really want to play the remaster. Sadly,
yeah.
Blizzard, you got me.
Well, I mean, I would if they weren't doing stuff like this. Like this is enough for me. Yeah.
I usually feel the same way. There's something about. I don't know. I'll probably wait a little while and see what the reviews are, and if people are like, "Yeah, they screwed it up in other ways as well." I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know me. It's actually really easy to turn me off of a game, even if it's like one of my favorites. Like, then make the ugly version of Final Fantasy 5 and 6. I refuse to purchase, or Because I don't agree with how Nintendo is pricing and putting out the Skyward Sword remaster, I refuse the purchase. And those are two of my like favorite franchises. I'm pretty hard-headed on this shit.
Yeah. I won't feel good about it. But
no, there's me playing Sephiroth.
Yeah. Oh, look. Final Fantasy V Remix. I understand. Yeah. And I'm definitely going to be playing the original Final Fantasy VI. Although I wish the patches hadn't broken it. I might have to try it again. Because there are patches out for the original NES version, or SNES version, that fix a lot of shit. But I feel like there might be one particular patch that broke it. So I'm going to try it again without that one. And it was just like a graphical update.
You know, a patch that, or a version of the game that looks almost exactly like the original and everything functions perfectly is the Game Boy Advance version of the game.
Really? They fixed all the bugs?
Yes. That is right now, and I think I've told you this before, Final Fantasy VI Advance is like the best version of Final Fantasy VI you could play. The only downside is it uses the sound system, like the sound engine of the Game Boy Advance. So a lot of people don't like it as much as, say, the PlayStation version, which also has a bunch of the same, like the bonus dungeons and everything that you don't have to play. Because it sounds better on the PlayStation. But it looks better, and it even has some fixes from the PlayStation version in it. I think there might be a slightly better version, because I think maybe the PSP version is an increased version of that, with a couple bug fixes. But then after that, it's the Android version, so I wouldn't go any further than the PSP.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about Final Fantasy anymore. We always talk about Final Fantasy.
Oh, eventually, yeah. But my whole point is, like, it's really easy for me to be turned off of a remake of a game or a remaster or just anything like that. Because it's like, I can already play the original. Any small amount of bullshit is enough to make me not want to support whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
You could mod the audio in the GBA version. That is totally possible.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to try to do is mod the bugs out of the SNES version, because there are mods out there. And it's funny that I've looked at these mods, and it's like flipping like 3 bits over. It's like, oh, and that fixed. Like, wow, that's an easy fix. Why didn't they do that? But yeah, I'm gonna try that, because I also don't want to. And the only reason I'm playing the Steam version of Final Fantasy V is just because convenience.
Yeah. Because also, like equally, Final Fantasy V Advance is the best version of Final Fantasy V.
Should have done that.
Yeah. I would actually, anybody who decides to do something like you, I would more so recommend getting ROMs of the Game Boy Advance versions of the ones you can. They're better than the PlayStation versions outside of the audio. Like, Dawn of Souls, better than Origins. 4 Advance, 5 Advance, 6 Advance, better than almost any of the ports. Like, I like it better than the 3D remake of it. 3, you're kind of just stuck with the way 3 is. It's the only version of the game you can really play. But the Game Boy Advance versions are just really solid, like, spiritually SNES games.
Yeah. See, so here's my question. Elric suggests fans should make a hot patch for Diablo 2 to make the Amazon hot again. I wonder, they're probably going to go this whole, online only.
Yeah.
Always online route, and then it's probably going to, like, puke if you try to patch it like that, I'm guessing. Or, at the very least, every time there's an update, it'll get rid of it, and you'll have to reapply it or get a different version or something.
Yeah.
But
did the GBA team have more time to dev and bug fix or something? I actually believe it was ported by a third party, which is why they had the time to make sure everything functioned well.
Cool.
Well, the other thing is, even if it wasn't always online, you shouldn't have to mod to fix things on your own, especially with a game that this old and people just want a faithful remaster. Like, even if it's an option, that shouldn't be the way you have to fix it.
Yeah. Yep. It is a shame. Of course, it's not out yet. There could be changes. Maybe. Don't know.
This could be Sonic the Hedgehog the movie level of changes where everybody bullies them into making things the way they want them to be. I support this. I think communities at large should bully developers that are trying to change shit and to make things the way they're supposed to be. If the people that are annoying and vocal online are bullying them to make things worse, then damn it, we should bully them to make things better.
Yeah.
Let them know that we're louder, we're better, and we're the ones throwing money at them.
And doggone it, people like us.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing at the end of the day. If the louder crowd, the bigger crowd, if they actually decide to be a crowd, are also the ones throwing money at them, which crowd would you rather listen to?
Yeah. You would think. I don't know if they're going to listen.
Well, they'll only listen if it's the numbers. These people only care about power and like demagoguery. You have to just show up with the numbers.
Yeah, it's just what do they care more about actual profit, or for some reason these corporations seem to care more about virtue.
I don't think it is about the profit even. It's the number of people. Because to these people, everything's a power game.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to come in higher numbers. That's how you get your way, is to prove that you're the bigger audience. You're the bigger group of people. You're louder, you're more important.
I'm just not sure that's even going to do it. I just don't know.
Well, it's that attitude why people lose.
Well, I go for it. Go for it. Yeah. Absolutely. I hope it works. I know that there are more people out there, even on Twitter, saying this is bullshit. They need to fix this, but I just hope that they listen. I don't know if they will.
Yeah. Well, one of the problem is like the people who complained enough to get these changes in the first place are a lot more determined, right? They do letter writing campaigns and they're like, they do things to make it seem like they're the people that matter. They do things that the other people don't like. Tweeting's not enough. Like, if you really want things to get changed, you have to call people up. You have to write letters. You actually have to do things that take effort. Because that's what the other people do. Should we start a petition on,
what is it, change.org or something like that? Can we start a petition?
They also have a lot more free time. That's true, because they most of them don't have jobs.
That's right. I know, and they have all of their, dozen cats all sign the petitions too.
Well, what's worse too is like even the ones that don't have jobs, it's like they don't do anything, right? They're not out there creating content or doing anything that could be seen as work. Their whole job is activism. So all they do is berate people all day long.
And that's what Activision Blizzard is afraid of. Oh my gosh, if we make this character sexy, we might get a bunch of weirdos on Twitter berating us.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to understand. Well, you'll get a lot more normal people praising you.
The problem is because normal people don't speak out, right? That's the real thing. It's kind of like the idea that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You don't notice when things are going right. You only notice when things are going wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, some people notice.
Yeah, but it's very small, Praise is always few and far in between compared to complaints.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like these artists on Twitter who put out something where it's like, a character who normally has dark skin, they put it out, with lighter skin, and they get like, pushback from like 100 people, and then praise from 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I'm going to take it down and apologize. It's like, what, because of the, 0.1% of people that didn't like it?
Yeah.
Why are you bowing to a tiny little mob of nobodies?
Because they're unprincipled, and I don't mean to say that in like an insulting way. There are very, very few people who are principled, who have actually like taken the time to introspectively look at themselves, find out like what their foundation and first principles are, so that things like that don't affect them. You know? Because if you're principled, even if like 10,000 people are praising you, and it's a very small portion that are, complaining about it, if you see a valid complaint that lines up in your principles, then that's the only thing that's going to need to matter. But if you don't see a valid complaint in any of them, then you could throw them all out.
Yeah, but if you have no principles, then you just...
Yeah. Or you don't even know what your principles are. Like, you don't know what the bedrock of your, like, life is, how you operate, what your modum operatum.
Well, I agree with Bullet. If you aren't trying to create sexy characters, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I agree. In general.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's some validity to ugly characters, but time and place. You know, like, if you make like a really ugly monster, then it's more horrifying and stuff. Like, there's good reasons, time and place for ugly characters, but there's a beauty to the world that's important.
And I mean, frankly, if you want people to identify with and sort of be on the side of the good characters, you got to make them good looking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it's like go back to Greek mythology, right? With their statues and stuff. All of their heroes, even though they have flaws in character, they are almost ideal in form for whatever they're doing, right? And the reason to do that is because they're supposed to like be an archetype, an icon for this specific facet of life that their story's representing. So they have to be almost physically flawless to represent that facet. So the actual problem comes down to their character. If you start making characters that look flawed in form, then people are going to start picking up on that, and they might even lose whatever the character flaw is. You're distracting them from like the moral or point of the story half the time.
Yeah. You can also have, I'm just trying to think of some examples of where, a story, like where a character is made to be unattractive for a specific reason because you're trying to show that they are maybe good inside.
Yeah.
That people
time and place.
Interacting. Yeah, like, there's a character in Ultima 7, for instance, who is deformed, or maybe he's burned or something like that. And he falls in love with this beautiful woman in the town of Fawn, but he's not allowed to even go in the town because the town is obsessed with beauty.
Yeah.
But, this one woman sees in him, the goodness of him, despite the fact that she's been raised in this town where beauty is seen as a virtue in and of itself. And there's this whole story.
It depends on your character arc, right? What is the character's arc? Is it a positive arc? Is it a negative arc, or is it a neutral arc? Now, a character like that, his arc is neutral because he is already a just character on the inside. His presence is changing that of the world. So the actual change that we're seeing is the town who's obsessed with the beauty. The form of the character all depends on where the arc is centered and what the path we're traveling down is.
And then you get to see later gets attacked and most of the people die, and like the only person left alive is left deformed and ugly. And there's this whole ironic, and she comes around and realizes that they shouldn't have shunned this person. But I mean,
sometimes you do it for, it's just narrative purpose, right? Like another example is Emperor's New Groove, right? Cusco starts out as a very pretty guy who's got everything. He's on the top of the world. He is the emperor. And then he gets turned into a llama, which I don't know if you've ever looked at a llama. They're pretty damn ugly. So now he has to go through the world without, his I guess, nobility without his good looks or anything, just like whatever charm that he's lacking because he never had to develop any. And he goes through a character arc of growth, having to deal with all this, and becomes a good person by the end when he finally gets to go back to being him.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's tons of interesting ways that you can do that, but there has to be a purpose to it, right? You can't just, there's no reason to make an ugly character just for them to be ugly, because then you're throwing spaghetti at the wall, you know?
Yeah, they should have the, you know, they could have done it where like they added some additional storyline where the Amazon is cursed with this ugliness or looking like a man for some reason, and then, you know, somehow redeems her whatever she did wrong to get, you know, to get this horrible curse, and ends up becoming beautiful by the end of Diablo 2. I don't know. But I don't think that they added such a storyline, unfortunately.
I don't think they added any storylines.
No, I don't think so. They just made her ugly because they hate beautiful women because they're misogynistic assholes, I guess.
The Emperor's New Groove is one of my favorite movies. I'm saying, yeah, that is an underrated movie. I don't know how underrated it is, though. Like, it did get a TV show, and it did get at least one sequel. I don't know if there was more, but was that Kronk's New Groove? So it's like, I don't think it's actually underrated, because clearly they wouldn't be making all this stuff if there wasn't an audience for it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people like it.
Yeah. It's just a really good movie. I mean, David Spade and John Goodman. How can you go wrong?
Exactly. Definitely. Well, I think they should make a remaster of the original Diablo.
I do too, because that one graphically doesn't hold up as well.
No, and gameplay wise also.
Like, yeah, make it play more like 2.
Yeah, your character just kind of walks very slowly and very rigidly.
Yeah.
Although I think they did come. I feel like a while back they came out with some sort of graphical update for it. I'll have to look that up. It's probably free at this point. But yeah, Diablo 2 was definitely so far the pinnacle of the series, and I don't have a whole lot of faith in Diablo 4 being any better than 3.
Oh no, I think it's probably going to be hot trash if I were to take any guess.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of people were hoping that 4 would be good, because they found out that Diablo 2 was getting a remaster, and like, oh, well, maybe this will influence them to make a better game for 4. But I highly doubt it.
Apparently not. You're going the wrong direction with this. Which is sad. But you know what? There is still the original, and if you want to play the original, it's definitely playable. I have, like I said, I played it recently on, you know, Windows 10. It works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But just do that.
Oh wait, I foolishly did not use the restroom before we started the podcast.
Uh-oh.
And so I need to go. But we're gonna play a little game. And everybody in the audience, you want to play a little game? He'll be a fun thing for the podcast. You can make your judges as I walk out the door, because you'll all see it. Yesterday, we did. They found the scale over here. We did some weigh-ins. I haven't weighed myself since about this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want you all to guess how much I weigh.
Oh boy.
And I don't know. It'll probably be like a bullshit prize. I don't know what I'll give you. Maybe like a 5-second sketch or something that I do at the end or after the stream. I don't know. But you can all take a guess. Preferably in pounds. But I do know my approximate weight in kilograms if you just feel you have to guess it in that way. And I'll tell you, my height is only 5'6". So you guys can have a better chance at guessing. Yeah.
You're shorter than Peach. Jeez.
Yeah. So I'll let you all guess in a minute.
I wish I knew how to do a poll in Twitch, but I can't find it.
I do too. But yeah, just everybody can put their guesses. We'll find out, and I'll be back.
All right. What do we think? Okay, Ulrich says 135. I'm gonna guess. I think that's probably close. Let's see. Bullet says 180. No, I think that's very wrong. Mr. Squeaker says 150. I'm gonna say 130. Bullet says 5'6". I'm a full foot taller. You're 6'6"? Oh my god. You're like a giant. That is really tall. That means you're 6 inches taller than me. I'm 6 feet even. Wow, I want to see Bullet. I want to see Bullet like next to something so I can see the scale. He's huge. Buck says I'm not allowed because I actually know. That's impressive, Bullet. So we'll see. We'll see when he comes back. I'm gonna say I kind of was like, I feel like 135 is probably close, but I didn't know if I should go up above or below, so I'm just gonna say lower. And here he is, coming back. We're gonna find out. I don't know what anybody gets if they're close, but kudos, I guess. Did you know Metal? I can't talk today.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just pulled my headphones out and had to put them back in.
Oh, okay. Did you know Bullet is 6'6"?
I remember him saying he was ridiculously tall, so I had an idea he was around there. I forgot it was specifically 6'6".
The tallest two guys in my high school were 6'3", and I thought that was tall.
But our heights have come up in a actual verbal conversation before, and so I knew he was tall. I just forgot exactly.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a few guesses.
Okay.
Someone said 180.
Oh, well, I was going to let him and Mr. Squeakers re-guess if they want, because those came in before I told everybody my height.
Oh, okay. Well, they should have known.
Yeah.
They should have known better. Buck says, I'm in the centimeter hell between 5'2" and 5'3". Oh,
yeah. Well, that's the thing, because, like, centimeters don't line up directly with inches, so he's, like, right there at 5'3".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bullet says I shot b-ball outside the school. Buck is 5'3"?
Yeah. He's about as tall as Wolverine.
Very cool. Eagle says I'm 6'4". Wow, we got a lot of tall people in here.
Yeah. It's my Irish ancestry showing through.
Bullet gave a range. Now he's saying 145 to 165.
Okay.
Still on the high end, in my opinion.
Okay, so let's see what our guesses are. Starting with Elric, I guess, because he guessed after I gave my height. And he has 135. You put 130. Then after that, Buck obviously is not allowed to guess because he knows he was right there when I was weighing. After that, we've got 150 because Mr. Squeaker's stuck with him. And Bullet put 145. So the answer is, and we'll just obviously go with the closest. And this is with clothes on. Because I wasn't about to strip down just to get on the scale in front of everybody. Not going to be a huge difference. I was only wearing my underwear, pants, and shirt, no shoes or anything like that. Was 134.6 pounds, which is the most I've weighed in my entire life.
Elric is right on the
closest.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I thought Elric would probably got it right, so I was just kind of guessing something different to be different.
Yeah.
Cool. Elric got it.
Elric did get it. I don't know, Elric. We'll figure something out. You've got my DMs. I might give you like a quick sketch or something like that. We'll talk about it.
Good job. I should figure out. I mean, I am a mod on here. I should be able to do a poll.
You should. Yeah. I don't know how things work.
I don't know.
I probably could just hop into Streamlabs and set one up because CloudBot or whatever it is can run polls.
Yeah.
I just didn't bother to set one up.
That'll work. Someone please pick up that call or pick up that phone because I called it.
Yeah. A year ago, I was 125 last time I weighed myself, so I'm glad on that. With me, I struggle to gain weight. And when I do, it's hard to tell. Like, Buck was super confused when I stepped on that scale. And I told him, like, yeah, last time I weighed myself, I was 125. And then when I stepped on it, and I was like 134 or whatever, he's like, where is it?
It's not in the hair. That's for sure. Don't know.
Well, I've been working out more, so that's probably where... I think everybody has been for the most part, right? Like, most people either have been getting more fat or they've been exercising more. There's almost no in between.
Yeah, I know. I've been getting more fat.
Yeah. And it's a struggle because when I was in high school, I was like 110. And it's been taking me a long time to even build up to where I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely put on that COVID weight. That's the problem. See, for the first like 2/3 of the COVID thing, I was kind of losing weight because I didn't have any money to buy food.
Yeah.
And now that I'm here, I've very rapidly gained weight. So yeah, I need to stop all that eating and work out somewhere.
Yeah. So, I think we've wrapped up that first topic as much as possible.
Yeah. You gotta be careful because as you get older, gaining weight becomes a lot easier.
Maybe. It depends. My dad still has a hard time gaining weight, and he's like, he was born in 64. So I'm trying to remember how old he is.
He's about the age of my sister.
Yeah. And he's still, I don't know, I think he's 140 something. And he's got like a couple inches on me.
Okay.
And he doesn't exercise at all. His exercise is just walking places. And he drinks a lot of beer. It's just, one thing is I've got both the genetic mutations for bone density and muscle density, so my bones and muscles are more dense than the average person. So it's really hard for me to build everything, and my body doesn't like to hold on to fat. Which is why it takes me a really long time to build up weight. And then when I do, it's like Buck said, where is it? It's like, well, it's there. You just can't see it.
Yeah. Well, you know what I found? What's interesting is that when I lose weight, it's sometimes you can't see it.
Yeah.
Like if I could lose 20 pounds and you may not be able to even tell the difference, but like, rings that used to fit perfectly will be looser. So it's like, there's like fat on your fingers and things like that just what you lose all over. And so it's harder to notice, but you'll notice little things.
Yeah. I remember we were having a conversation too, and now he's a lot less skeptical about it because we were talking about what our ideal weights would be. He's like, well, I would like to weigh 150. I think 150 would be a good weight, if it was like being in shape, 150. And he's like, I could not see you with your frame weighing 150. This was back when I was still like 115 pounds, and now being close to like 135, and I still look mostly the same. He's like, okay, I might believe now.
Yeah. I'd be happy at 190. That's my ideal weight.
Yeah, well, for your height, yeah, that'd be a pretty good weight.
Yeah. Eventually. Maybe I'll get back on Atkins.
Yeah. Well, you have a treadmill, right? Well, we talked about this before,
Yes,
because I know you have was it your leg or your knee problem or something like that?
Yeah, my knee.
Your knee? Yeah. So the treadmill will take a lot of the pressure off of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting that, I had to have reconstructive surgery, but my leg itself isn't any big deal. It's my knee that sometimes hurts. But, I've been trying to walk more. So I think as I hopefully strengthen the muscles around that area and lose some weight. It's funny, I have to lose weight for it to be easier for me to lose weight.
Yeah. A lot of the times that's the case.
But yeah, the treadmill I've got has a cushion setting, so you can actually make it more or less kind of bouncy. So yeah, I can make it so that it's not like running on concrete.
Yeah.
So
there's another good way to lose weight. Is I actually got it right here. Where is it? Jump rope. This is actually the best way to lose weight. Is a high like rotation per minute jump roping, high RPM, just fast. You get breathing real fast. You don't have to go anywhere. You can just stay in one place. You will burn fat fast on that. Yeah. That's why boxers do it. Yeah.
Jump rope is super sexy. Yeah. Oh, super easy. Sorry. I thought he said super sexy.
It's super sexy too. Okay, I'll have you know. Yeah, especially if you get like a pretty top-heavy woman jump roping. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I bet. Sexy as well. Yeah. But I don't have much of an excuse except I'm just lazy.
Well, I wouldn't recommend jump roping with a bad knee until you've like really worked those muscles up anyway. That's a good way to mess your knee up again.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much excuse not to get on the treadmill.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could find 30 minutes a day every day.
Oh yeah, easily. But you just find a streamer you want to watch, set up a device like a tablet or something right there on the treadmill, and just watch some entertainment while you go. I've done it.
Well, there's a television there too.
Oh, you got a television.
I could hook up my Switch. Actually, I wonder if I could probably hook up the dock of the Switch, and it has YouTube on it, so I could watch something like that. Isn't there YouTube on the Switch?
Yeah. I've got it downloaded right now.
Yeah.
I love it. Like if I'm working and I don't want too many distractions, like because the chat will distract me or like the comment section. If I'm trying to work and I have like YouTube up, I just can't resist the urge to scroll down and look at the comments. All right. Yeah. And that's taking me away from it. Yeah, so like if I'm drawing, I like to just put the Switch there because the Switch doesn't have the comment section. Put on a video on the little tablet and watching it right next to whatever my paper is.
Yeah. But like I like watching game theory or film theory or what's it called? I've been watching these pitch meetings on Screen Rant, and those are usually like 15 minutes long, sometimes 20 minutes. And so just like watch 2 of them and I'm done.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even realize that 30 to 40 minutes has gone by.
Oh yeah, I do that. Like even if I'll get restless. I'll go over there where there's like a little empty space and I'll just jog in place for a while, and I'll jog for like 5 minutes straight. I'll put my headphones on or a song. I'll put on like a 5-minute song and I won't even count the time. I'll just jog until the song is over.
Yeah.
I would do a jump roping, but I don't know if you've seen this area. You can't really jump rope in this room. I'd have to go outside in the backyard to do that.
I could see there's plenty of room
in
front of my huge game collection here, as you can see. It's totally real. I don't know what Dark End Link is talking about. This is a totally real, ignore the little artifacts next to my thumb, totally real game collection behind me.
I think they do have a jump rope Joy-Con game. I think that is a thing that exists.
Or people could exercise while they're watching the Vomitorium.
They totally could. We are a great show for you to be exercised during, because not only do we give you some informative shit and some honestly garbage opinions, but we've got a sweet ass OC Remix playlist soundtrack in the background for you to listen to while you're doing things.
Mm-hmm. And you got the, as Dillard Jaws says, the Fuchsia Sex Room Dungeon to look at.
I don't know why. I think it resets some of my camera settings. Like, I'm not switched, but my color balance and everything keeps auto changing. I need to go back and turn that stuff off. Yeah, it's not even like the normal pink.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's dark out finally. It's interesting since spring has come along. In the beginning of our podcast, I'm all backlit. You can't tell, but there's a week behind me. But by about an hour in, I'm pretty good. So.
It's still bright outside here, but I'm also a lot more south. So, the closer you get to the equator, the longer the sun goes up.
Well, but you're also a lot farther west. So it's
south and west.
Yeah, a lot farther west. I'm on the east side of Central, and you're on the west side of Central time zone.
Which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about
Central's
how big,
huge.
how big Texas is. I'm actually quite in the middle, because the furthest side is right before you hit El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
Because El Paso, think they're fucking special and we're so far away. We need to be in the next time zone. We're with New Mexico. We're Mountain Time here. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Just stick with our time. You're in the state. Stay with the state. 3 minutes from town, we're still in Central.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You know, I used to live in Tennessee, and Tennessee is in 2 different time zones.
Yeah.
Because right down not quite in the middle, but on the east side of Tennessee.
Which is annoying if you're passing through and you don't know where the time zone changes.
Yeah, I mean, there's big signs and everything, but
yeah.
If you're going to Knoxville's in East time zone, Eastern.
Yeah. Okay.
So what else is happening? I think we've exhausted the Diablo 2 rants.
Yeah. Yes, we have. We got a lot of things. Did you know, speaking of jump rope games and Nintendo doing weird things with the Joy-Con, Nintendo, without telling anyone, quietly shut down the Nintendo Labo homepage and stopped manufacturing of the Nintendo Labo stuff.
Interesting. Well, they haven't been promoting it much.
No,
lately,
they haven't.
So I've personally completely forgot about it. So.
Yeah, Labo was weird. It was like a weird experiment just to see, like, hey, dude, we're gonna sell you cardboard for the cost of a full game. Here's your fucking cardboard that we could have just like sold you the instructions and you could have cut out at home.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, if you go to labo.nintendo.com, it takes you to a product page for the Labo VR kit.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all there is.
Which is like one of the only... They don't have it in production anymore. It's just... That's what they have left to sell, is the VR kit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've got more. It looks like they've got others that you can... I wonder if they're sold out.
Yeah. It's just... They might have a couple others. It's just whatever they have left to sell, that's what's there. They're not producing anymore.
Yeah. So if you want some cardboard to go with your Nintendo video games, go get it quickly.
Yeah, they do include game
They're
carts.
running out.
Yeah, that is true. They do include game carts. It's just such a weird thing. Like, some of them were kind of cool though, like the ones that had the rope and everything, like the I think it was supposed to be like a mech thing. You built like a backpack and you had like these like grips that you put the Joy-Cons in, and it moved the rope behind it. Like, there were some interesting things, and it did give you like this child like wonderment of the type of stuff you would do as a kid and just incorporated with video games. But at the same time, it felt like it was way too expensive, because I think some of them were over $100 for the bigger kits because of all the cardboard that was involved, plus obviously the cost of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why they made him in the first place? It's because Nintendo can't be normal. And that's why we like Nintendo, is because they can't be normal. Everybody else is focusing on this, like, high expense VR experience where they make their own headsets. And Nintendo's like, listen, we got cardboard for you. Remember as a kid you liked playing in a box? We got your box right here. Buy it.
That's right. Well, they also have that racing thing. I mean, they also have Amiibo. But they more recently have like the actual racing cars where you set up a track.
Oh, the Mario Kart Home Tour? Dude, that is legit as fuck, too. You have to... The expensive part is obviously just buying the cart with the camera that syncs up. The game itself is free because they understand how expensive the cart is. You can download it right now for your Switch. But man, get it. I need to get one of those carts. I really do. My cousin set one up and he did like a little... Do you have one yourself or?
No.
No.
I was going to show you something else.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
But my cousin got it like the day it came out and he set it up. He got a couple for his kids. And he did like a little demo video that he put up on Facebook, and I watched him and his kids play through it. It was legit.
But speaking of Nintendo toys, have I showed you this yet?
No, you told me about it. I actually haven't seen it.
This is the television Lego. One thing that annoys me is that it doesn't actually attach to the feet. It has like a stand, but it doesn't actually attach. It just kind of sits on it. But yeah, so this actually works.
Well, that's garbage. If you put it on like some surface and somebody bumped into it, it would just come right off the feet.
It would fall right off. Oh shit! Did I? Oh, there we go. You gotta kind of get it going. Darn it, Mario! It's always
Does it only have one antenna? It's not bunny ears.
Oh my gosh, crank just doesn't work very well. Yeah, there we go. Yes, it only has one antenna.
I mean, it wasn't uncommon, but when you think of it like an old TV, you think bunny ears.
Yeah. And it's the same scene over and over.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it has the antenna. It even like snaps in the back there. The little snap. Yeah, it looks like a real CRT TV. So yeah, managed to get that put together. Has a little. This thing actually turns, I think.
Oh, that's cool. It's got a nice, satisfying clicking sound.
Yeah, exactly. These things don't turn. But yeah, Nintendo's weird. They're weird sometimes.
Yeah.
We got cool stuff. Send it over here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like about Nintendo, though, is because unlike a lot of other gaming companies, they decided that they're not a game company. Like, that's not what they are. They are still a toy company at heart. So they still do a lot of wacky and innovative things like a toy company would. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted... One cool thing about that is that you can actually put... so they also made like a board game, I guess, where you've got like this little Mario figurine that you can move on the board game. That Mario figurine will go on top of that TV and like light up at certain points or something. It interacts with it in some way, but I don't plan on getting that, so I don't know. I don't know how it works exactly. But yeah, Nintendo, I think, still has this attitude that they're first and foremost a toy company.
Yeah, and I love that. Like, absolutely. Because you've been getting cool stuff from Nintendo this entire time. If you were getting their cooler stuff. Like, the Pokemon Company, which, you know, is part owned by Nintendo. For Heart Gold and Soul Silver, when you bought the original game, in the box, it came with this little Pokeball that you strapped to your waist. Like, it actually a little clip, so you just put it right on your hip. And it was like a pedometer. It was called the Poke Walker. It had a little screen on it. You could wirelessly uplink one of your Pokemon in there, and they could go on walks with you. They would find items that you could put back in your game. They would get experience while you were going on your walk, so you could level up a Pokemon that way. And then you could just like import them right back into your game afterwards and switch with Pokemon. So it was a good way of like encouraging people to walk around. And later they took that idea and just put a whole little pedometer inside the 3DS, because Nintendo's just always doing wacky stuff like that.
Yeah. Didn't they, like, wasn't there something with Pokemon Go where you could use a real Pokeball or something?
Yes. They do have like a little Pokeball thing. So what, well, there's two things, right? So there is a watch looking thing. It's like a little Pokeball that comes down to a point like a teardrop for like the Pokestops. And if you have that watch on, you can throw your hand and it would do like the catch motion physically. But there was also, for Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu, there was a Joy-Con controller that is shaped like a Pokeball, and right in the center would be the joystick that you can click in. And you could also hold that and throw it to catch Pokemon in Let's Go. And I believe that Pokeball also worked for Pokemon Go afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. If you... well, that brings up another point. I should remind people. I do have Streamlabs set up. If you go down to the description of... Oh, I did not put the link in the D Live. We only have one viewer there. I need to remember to do that. I keep forgetting that's a place that we stream to.
Yeah.
It should be in the About section there. But I have the donation links set up in the YouTube and the Twitch. If anybody's ever enjoying the show and they would like to support it, feel free to, especially through the Streamlabs, throw some money. Your name will pop up on screen for a short bit in this little call out, and then it'll show up in the brought to you in part by section, because you are technically our sponsors. Mm-hmm. And if we do get enough, yeah, sure, we'll start doing giveaways and stuff. We just need some money to do giveaways with.
Yeah.
It's got to be a surplus of what it costs to actually host the show.
Right. Speaking of which, I did, by the way, I don't know if we announced this or if we mentioned it on this channel before, but I was doing a giveaway last week on my channel, and guess who won?
Hey! And then Dark End Link just gave us a tip for $1, so he shows up on there. Thank you, DL.
Oh, wow. Hey, look at that.
Yeah. Which is he's always got enough to throw out. Thank you for being a good example of how it works. It's right there on screen.
Thank you very much. But yeah, Metal won the big prize. And Rick was there. He was watching. Yeah. And so
I wasn't even watching.
I know. I had like a spinning wheel.
Yeah.
It had everything on it. Spun it one time. Boom, landed on Metal.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
now I'm not eligible, which is good. You cannot let me be eligible for these type of things. I always win them.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And I had tested it like 50 times off screen or off stream before that, and I think it landed on you once or twice in that time. But I was like testing it over and over and over just to make sure it was, and it totally was random. So when I did it live, it landed on Metal.
Well, then it was like before that. With Jiminy, you pulled me in for Jason's stream because you was like, hey, we need enough viewers for him to do a giveaway, and then it was me. If somebody if I'm eligible for a giveaway, I'm gonna win more often than not. I just have like weird grace with the universe.
Yeah. Well, it felt a little bad because you are a mod, and of course you're gonna show up to more streams. So the people who showed up more got a bit of a wider wedge on the wheel, which is you had like among the widest ones. So I spun it again, and a different person won the second time around. So I gave a $25 gift certificate to Lynn's888 on Twitch, and I finally she decided to get a Steam card, so I gave her a $25 gift card.
Personally, I just think mods shouldn't be available for these type of giveaways. I understand when you have a small, like, recurring audience, right? If we had bigger ones, I just wouldn't let mods be available.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a lot of mods. And frankly, I don't know. I mean,
Was it like me and GMT?
Yeah. I mean, if she had won, I would have been perfectly happy to give her the prize.
Yeah, GMT would deserve it too.
Yeah. Mods are people too.
Yeah. I know.
But yeah, I guess if the Vomitorium does a giveaway, I will probably not be eligible.
Well, you're on the show.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I know. I kept hoping.
And then Rick's just like, unmod me. I just hit his head.
Yeah. Funny. Mods lives matter. That's right.
Well, so we don't really have a problem because we don't have mods that will randomly just ban people. I mean, we barely have any mods. Unlike some shows where I know you have to be careful who you give modding privileges because they will abuse it. Personally, modding, it should be a volunteer job almost, right? Like, you don't put any pressure on your mod that they're not wanting to handle, but if you want to be modded somewhere, it's because, hey, I come here a lot, I want to help the show out, so let me make sure your chat is not destructive or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have mods that show up to almost every show.
Yeah. So personally, what I would do is if we were remaking a lot, I would probably just gift a mod anyway. Like, I wouldn't let them be in a raffle. But if we had the stuff to throw at it after, obviously, you and I took a cut because we should be getting something for the show, I would probably just like, hey, like you did in a way, you do a good job all the time. Would you like a gift card to some place?
Yeah. Definitely, but I don't know if we're big enough.
No, we're nothing.
Mods don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I'm talking in principle.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of streamers that have 50 to 100 to 200 people in their chat every time they stream, and so you kind of gotta have mods just in case people become abusive or start swearing at you in a foreign language or something like that. So.
But I love swearing at people in foreign languages.
Oh, by the way, the other day, and I don't want to, in fact, I don't even remember. I'm trying to remember because it's kind of important. So I watch Holly Wolf on Twitch. She does either just chatting or she does a lot of Genshin Impact playing. And she does also like gardening streams. She's out in her backyard garden. She had a Twitch partner. I don't think she's a partner. She's like an affiliate.
Yeah.
But she had like a Twitch partner, some guy from France. I think his name was like Magugu or something like that. Like come in and start swearing at her and calling her a whore and all this shit. He's like, what the fuck, dude? Like it was a Twitch partner. Like,
man, dude, I wish a Twitch partner would come in our chat and start calling me a whore.
I know. Well, yeah, that would be hilarious. But she was a bit peeved at it, and I think her mods, whatever, banned him or whatever. But she took a screenshot of it, and I was like, God, what an asshole! Like, how is he a partner? But I did find his channel and took a screenshot, and he definitely looks like a Magugu.
Like a Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, exactly. He was surprisingly good looking.
Oh, okay.
No, but yeah, I mean,
Mr. Magoo probably was when he was younger.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, here's a tip for not getting banned from live streams. Don't go in and start calling women whores on Twitch.
Oh man, that's what I've been doing wrong.
Yeah, that's why you keep getting banned from places.
No, I keep getting invited back. I don't know what's up.
No. Well, you can call us whores. We are.
Yeah.
We're happy to take money for what we do.
I just won't dance for you if you add monkey at the end of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sucks. Yeah, Holly Wolf was a good follow if you're interested in non-horror Twitch streamers.
Yeah,
I do follow. It's funny, there's a lot of talk about Twitch thoughts and all that stuff. I don't follow anyone that I consider a thought. But I do follow a lot of women on Twitch who actually play games. Imagine that.
I just like following funny people.
Yeah, well, or they're funny or whatever. Maya Danny's one who doesn't play a lot of games, but she's hilarious. But they do occasionally get people in their chats who just assume, oh, it's a woman on Twitch, she must be a whore.
Yeah. Well, I like the ones who comedically play into the bit. Like, oh, woman on Twitch. Obviously, this is a titty stream. Like, people who play into it comedically, top-notch, excellent shitlord memeing content. One of my favorite streamers that I used to watch, like, way back, like the first satire titty streamer, was Casey Tron. And she is a comedic genius.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. I think she still plays, too.
Yeah.
Back in those old everybody streaming league days.
Yeah. Someone named Nagasaki, who's an excellent artist on Twitch as well. But yeah, Bullet was asking me who it was that did we raid, maybe? Less Than Bree. She's good too. She plays games.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nagasaki's a great artist, and follow a couple of singers and things like that. There's all kinds of cool stuff on Twitch.
Well, my stance on this, which has been my stance since the first time that I made a public stance back in 2015 when I did the first version of this show. I've done several episodes on this too. I fully support e-girls because e-girls aren't the problem. It's the simps that are the problem. It's the simps I don't support because if there was no demand, there would be no supply to fill the market. So if you have a problem with like Twitch thoughts and stuff, your actual problem is with the simps that keep throwing them money.
Yeah, exactly.
Understand markets, people.
I do know all the girl gamers on Twitch. That's true. And I think it's true that. Here's the thing. I've been thinking about this for a little while, and specifically regarding Twitch and like how people get their viewers, how many viewers they have, and all that kind of stuff. And I'll grant you that the pretty girls get more viewers more easily.
Well, at least at first.
Weird, right.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that the top, like, and I don't think we could really aspire to be in this group, but the top streamers, the ones that get a ridiculous number,
all guys.
Are all guys.
Yeah, I've talked about this too. Like I had this formulation back in 2015. A lot of these women actually need it as a form of competition, right? Because on average, men tend to be funnier. I mean, men tend to have to be funnier. It's not that there aren't funny women, but men usually have to develop a comedic bone for one reason or another. It's even part of courting. Men also tend to be more skilled at games, which is a big thing on Twitch. And a lot of the top Twitch streamers are skilled. Yeah. Well, I mean, on average, yes, in general, but also like the highest skilled gamers are going to be men. If we're taking like the top 1% of skill in games, they're pretty much all going to be men. And a lot of that has to do with reaction time and stuff like that are different biologically. There's like a lot of reason why men will end up being the top watch streamers depending on what you're coming for, right? Especially if you want high-end gameplay, it's probably going to be a man. If you want somebody who's like the wittiest comedian that you're ever going to see on the network, there's a really good chance it's going to be a man. Not guaranteed, but a really good chance. So a lot of these women, they actually need the edge of attracting people, but even after having that edge, it's going to be the ones with the most entertaining personalities that retain the viewers the longest. Same with the skilled streamers, right? Of the top 1% of skilled gamers, the ones with the most entertaining personality are going to attract the most viewers even from that.
And there's always exceptions to everything. For instance, obviously there's a lot of extremely popular female streamers like Amaranth,
a lot of them,
and all those, which I don't know how they got to have such a humongous, simp crowd. But there's also a couple of really skilled female game streamers like Miss Click. Miss Click is huge.
Yeah.
And she's really, I mean, she plays a lot of Splatoon, but a lot of other games too. And so she's way up there with some of the best ones. But I'll tell you, you're right. Like in general, the men just leave everyone else. Well, leave the women in the dust. I watch
the top outliers do, right? But also the ones who get the least amount of views are also going to be men, because it kind of matches the talent and intelligence curve amongst men and women as well. And it's about the same Pareto distribution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I watch a lot of DGR Dave, who does a lot of Mario Maker 2 streams, and he just gets thousands and thousands. But he's hilarious. He's hilarious, and he's really good. I mean, he is, among the top Mario Maker players. I mean, he's got records on speedruns.com, and but he gets thousands and thousands, way more. But at the same time, there are all these women streamers who get hundreds and hundreds. So it's interesting that men tend to be either at the bottom or at the top, and women tend to be in the middle.
Well, they tend to cluster, and that is how most distributions are. Women tend to be more average than men, and men, the curve tends to be flatter, so they're more distributed out. And a lot of that has to do with biological reasons of like attracting mates and stuff like that. You would see things evolve along this pattern across most species that function like ours do. You see it in chimps as well.
Yeah, and I guess that's why you see the most homeless people tend to be men. Yeah. But the most CEOs of major corporations tend to be men, because they tend to be at the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
So, an interesting parallel in Twitch streamers versus real life.
You're just going to see it in every category. It's just the way our species is distributed.
Yeah. Marsupial needs to get a model of his wallaby and become a VTuber. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could probably make that happen.
I see some, like, Gulf City is another channel that I like to watch. And he's got, like, a VTuber model where the mouth moves when he talks. It's really cool. I'm like, man, I want to do that. That would be really neat.
So you're saying if there was a streamer that was two people, a hot female for simps to come in, and then like a really good skilled man, that channel will grow fast from the female and then develop probably. So actually you see this in real life, right? Radio shows, which we've been trying to, I at least have been trying to get like an e-girl or like somebody we could turn into an e-girl onto the show since we've relaunched it. And in radio shows, it could just be a voice. That's all we need is the voice. This is mostly an audio program. In radio shows, you will have like a panel of guys, right? You'll have like the host, and the host is the host for a reason, right? You know people at the network. He's a funny guy, very entertaining guy. There's a reason why he's the host of the radio show. He'll have another set of people, a couple guys on the panel, and there'll always be one woman with a nice voice. She may not even be smart. She's just there because she has a nice voice. That is the whole reason why she's there. And you see it in almost every radio station because it's a successful pattern that people want to jump on and market off of it.
Yeah, what's funny is, I used to listen to Dave and Carol in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And Carol from that show has a beautiful voice. I think I saw her in real life one time, and she's not very attractive, but she sounds beautiful on the radio.
Yeah. But that's all that matters. You have a face for radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just need a voice for it too.
A voice, yeah. Well, that's the key. We need to get a girl in here. I keep telling Peach she needs to stream, but she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. No, we would be blowing up fast if we had it. The voice matters the most with what we're doing too. If we had a girl with a nice voice, that would sell the whole show. You
know what else is funny? Yeah, there's a mostly Zelda streamer named Kylie and Luke that I watch. He streams on YouTube. And as far as I know, his most watched stream was one where he brought his sister in to play games with.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
That's why I wish I had a sister.
Yeah.
All I got is my brother, who was actually supposed to be a co-host on the show and never shows up.
Mm-hmm.
He even asked me on Wednesdays, like, what's the time of the show again? I might hop on. Obviously, he never did.
Yeah. Well, ladies, Kat, GMT, anyone else?
They'll never hop on. If you know somebody who's looking to get into live streaming or a program, anybody listening or watching, direct them our way. It's probably the easiest audition you'll ever land.
That's right. Especially
we
when
do have a casting couch for you, though.
I won't be participating in that, but
it's a nice couch.
Yeah, anyway.
It's got like one of those flip-up things that you can keep your drinks and snacks in.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. I know someone. Her name is Raven. Get me a Raven, VTuber rig and a voice changer, and we'll be in business.
Yeah.
What does that say? Beth PM says TR TR TR.
Yeah, it's a flag. I think it's Turkey or something.
Oh. Okay. It's not showing that in Twitch. Well, welcome on D Live. What is this Funimation? Yes, you have to audition for a non-paying gig.
Yes, it's you come to us, you say one thing so we could tell that you have a nice voice, and then you get the job. Like I said, it's the easiest audition you'll ever have.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. You know what's actually something that's pretty cool to talk about? Alfred Molina. You know what I'm getting at?
I don't think I do.
You know who Alfred Molina is, right?
Yeah.
The actor? So he's been confirmed
Dr. Octopus
to be playing Dr. Octopus in the Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which might be the only thing to actually get me to watch that movie.
Was that not confirmed before?
It was rumored before. It's actually been confirmed. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody's talking like this was already confirmed. It's like no, it was literally just a rumor before. It's actually been confirmed. And that's why I was like iffy on whether I would watch it or not. I still think the movie's going to be hot garbage. Don't get me wrong. I think this is going to be a trash fire. I have not liked any of the Spider-Man movies in the MCU. I liked him in Civil War. I thought he was good in that. Holland. His movies, they just aren't Spider-Man stories. Like they don't understand what makes a good Spider-Man story. He's barely even Peter Parker. You know, he's like a different character that's just running around as Spider-Man. Peter Parker in name alone. But goddamn, did I love Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus. And I just like him as an actor in general. Because he was barely like Dr. Octopus, but I've never liked that character. I liked what he played better. And I will probably watch that dumpster fire of a movie just because he's in it for however short amount of time that he's in it.
Yeah. Well, I have high hopes for this in general. I've had high hopes. I mean, because Tony Stark is dead now, I think there's a chance that he could become more Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think that was holding back a bit.
Well, I also know that Raimi is getting involved with these pictures again because Sam Raimi's already on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I think is coming out before this movie is. And so his input might be evolving. I've had some complaints about his original 3 Spider-Man movie that we all know. But most of those are towards 3. He fully understands what makes a Spider-Man story, like what makes the character, which are why his are still, what's it called? Why his are still, they stand out. Everybody loves the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. So, it might be better if they're taking his input. He knows the character, at least.
Yeah. I thought Alfred Molina was good as the treacherous sidekick for the first 10 minutes of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, before he gets killed. Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, he was good in that too. A little portrayal and stuff. He's good in everything he's in. He's just a good actor.
Yeah. Was he? He was in something else recently. Oh no, I was thinking. Anyway, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what it will be like to have all 3 movie Spider-Men in this movie.
See, because that wasn't a selling point for me, right? Even though I do kind of like the other 2. I liked Garfield as an actor. There was a lot of problems with the second Amazing Spider-Man, but I liked him as an actor. I think I like Tobey more, but for different reasons. I just like him as an actor. Pleasantville was a good movie too. That was not a selling point for this movie. Molina being in it, though, like confirmed, is a selling point for this movie because I just love the character that was his version of Dr. Octopus.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was thinking of. He was like the nerdy guy in Species.
No.
The only guy who actually gets some sex in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to think
from the alien who kills him, but he was the only one who got some. Because he's Alfred Molina.
The Waterman. Yeah, see, I didn't see that. It was the last movie he was in. Most of he just does like voiceover stuff now. Which is fine. Like, he's got a great voice. He can portray like any character. He's in Robot Chicken a lot.
Yeah. He was in what? What?
The Waterman, which is not a movie I've seen. That was like the last like flick he was in. Other than that, it's like TV shows and stuff.
Yeah. I might have to take a bathroom break too. Get another drink.
I could carry it. My nose is itchy.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. DL thinks Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is awful. What? It's probably the worst one.
I'll be right back.
No. The best Spider-Man movie was the one with Alfred Molina. It was Spider-Man 2. The original series, Spider-Man 2. Like, I don't even know how that is, how that's up for a question. That movie is just great in every way. In fact, I might even go back and watch Spider-Man 2 later on. Because that's such a good movie. Yeah. But, yeah. I'm not even excited for this. I just want to see Molina play Doc Ock again. He even said, when we were shooting it, we were all under orders not to talk about it because it was supposed to be some big secret. But you know, it's all over the internet. He described himself as the worst kept secret in Hollywood. How is... okay, Spider-Man 3 can only be a national treasure for its memes. And we're putting it on Star Wars sequel level territory now, aren't we? Or not sequel, prequel level territory. I mean, you do get a lot of really good memes out of Spider-Man 3. Don't get me wrong. But that's about all I can get out of that. That movie was too ambitious, and then in the middle of their ambitions, they just decided, let's throw a banana peel in here for no reason. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. I like his quote too. I was reading it, that's why it's spaced out. He says that they reintroduce his character from a continuation of where he disappeared at the end of Spider-Man 2, where he neutralizes his reactor and drowns himself in the East River. When asked how he survives the scene, he says, "In this universe, no one really dies." Which is kind of true in comics, you know? Man.
Are you reading about how Alfred Molina is coming back?
Yeah. His character never died.
Well, we never saw him.
Yeah, it only looked like he died because he went into the water. They never found the body.
That's right. I mean, that's like the the easiest, resurrection I can imagine in comics.
Yeah.
There's plenty of characters in comics who you actually saw their dead body, and yet they still came back somehow.
I wanted Norman Osborn to come back, even though we saw him just get impaled.
Well,
I really like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Well, this is a multiverse, so maybe a version of could come back.
Yeah. I would watch almost anything with Willem Dafoe in it. Except I will not rewatch that, what was it? The Antichrist or whatever it was called, that movie where he was fucking that one chick in the woods and you had to watch him naked. I will not rewatch that movie again. I didn't know I was going to have to see Willem Dafoe naked fucking a chick in the woods. It kind of emotionally scarred me. I think I'm set on that for the rest of my life.
Well, I think it's become a consensus that Willem Dafoe is playing the Amazon in Diablo 2.
Oh, yeah. They've got the same face.
Yeah. But you won't play that for some reason. What movie was this so I can never watch it ever?
I think it was, let me look up the name. I think it was called The Antichrist or something like that. I watched it with my dad.
I'm always looking for good horror movies. I feel like I've run out of horror movies to watch.
Yeah, it was just called Antichrist, one word. It was 2009. It was experimental psychological horror, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. Never watching it again.
Well, I watched a review of The Sun, or maybe it's just called Sun, that's seemingly about an Antichrist. Doesn't look that good. I don't think I'm going to watch it. But if anyone has some good horror movies and knows what I've already seen, can read my mind, please feel free to suggest one that I haven't seen before.
Yeah. I think I'd rather just go back and rewatch Boondock Saints if I want to watch a good movie with Willem Dafoe in it. He dressed up as a woman and beat a man to death.
Cool.
That was a good scene.
Or watch the original Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, but Boondock Saints also has Norman Reedus in it.
Oh.
Have you never seen Boondock Saints?
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, that's such a good movie.
Should watch that in the Cross Comics.
We should. Or we can start hosting movie night. I can make an amphitheater channel for that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Why do we need to outsource our entertainment to some other Discord? We're trying to build up the Discord here. I have it in the description. Make sure you join our Discord. I'm sorry if you're listening this on the audio version. Hopefully I'll remember to put the link to the Discord in the description of it. But if you're here on YouTube or Twitch, I think even DLive, the link's below. Join our Discord. We're building it up. That's the community. You can interact with the show directly from the Discord.
Right. And you do have it set up now as a, what is it called? A community?
A community. We have a stage room where if we wanted, we could do like a monthly special show where we just hop in there and have a panel. It'd be private for just the Discord community. We could even like do a supporters-based thing and everybody could hop in and they could listen while we just talk nonsense for a while.
Yeah. Discord has that now.
It's great.
We have it set up. It's called the Centurion Assembly.
Yes. Do you know what that is a reference to?
I can only assume some sort of Roman Senate thing.
Yes, the Centurion Assembly, which Centurion means 100, was kind of like a House of Commons type assembly. So it was the or House of Representatives, another way of looking at it. It was the representatives from the different tiers of like classes, right? Because they were a financial class-based society, and each class got so many representatives in the assembly. And so actually the biggest one was the first class, the lowest class, and they had like 80% of the assembly because they were like 80% of society. And it sounds like, oh well, that means they get to push everyone around. Not really though, because their vote is so disparate and spread out that it's hard for any of them to actually coordinate on how they should be doing things. So it's actually easier for the higher classes to get their way, because despite being a much lower percent of the assembly, it was a lot easier for them to coordinate.
Dillard says, you telling me that if I join Discord, I can have complete and unfettered access to the host of the show?
To some degree, yes. Yeah.
Cast off your fetters.
Yeah. And the assembly was actually the body of the Roman Republic that could declare war and move the troops and stuff like that. So there's your little history lesson for today.
Yeah, and you can see all the emojis that we're posting in there.
Yeah, like we've got some good ones.
Raven emoji nom.
Well, that's just one of the ones that DL has. That's not part of ours. We do have a lot of emojis in there. A lot of them right now are just kind of like revolving around the RPG that we've been playing. Any of the characters that you've grown to know are available emojis. And we even have a couple other ones. Like, we can't have animated emojis yet, but I was going to put my dancing little metal emoji in there. There's a couple marsupial emojis in there, too. We have a good time over there.
DL needs more Raven emojis.
It's like, that's almost unbelievable. This must be an expensive thing to join the Discord server. No! It's for the low, low price of absolutely fucking free! Join today.
That's right. The link is below in the description, right?
Yeah. It should be. I could double check. I know I put it in there I put it in there like almost 100 times ago now. But it should be in there. I'm gonna double check right now while we're still talking.
Well, I'm just looking at VR headsets. I'm wondering if I should get one. Did you know Oculus Quest 2 is only $300?
No, I did not know that. But that's also because I don't follow Oculus stuff.
Oh, no? Isn't that Samsung?
I thought Facebook owned Oculus.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I'm not super into VR. AR has more of my attention than VR does. Like, the HoloLens is actually kind of cool. If it was, something like that I could hook up to my phone so I don't have to be, like, within the range of Xbox or something. If I could walk around town and, like, say you were playing Pokemon Go through something like that, then maybe I'd actually be interested in Pokemon Go because they'd be popping up, like, literally in my range of view. Like, my field of view and stuff. Like, I could see them, I could throw a Pokeball at them and do the thing. AR, things that get you up and going places, but let you interact with, like, this hidden layer of reality almost, is way more appealing to me than being stuck in a room with a headset on pretending I'm in another place. I already do that well enough with video games. Video games are immersive enough. I don't need the very expensive piece of headwear that drowns out my perception of the world around me to do what we already do. If anything, that actually bothers me because I'm a super paranoid person and I don't like my field of view being cut off.
Yeah. I wasn't even sure HoloLens was still a thing, but apparently it is. HoloLens 2 is Microsoft's current AR offering, and it does look pretty cool too.
I am seriously looking where... There it is. There's a drop-down description. Yes, it is the first link. At the bottom is the Discord link in YouTube. And Twitch should have a separate box for it underneath the video.
Yeah. Or I can just put it in the chat. There you go.
Yeah, yes.
There it is in the chat.
Oh, no, you want to talk about paranoid, right? My setup drives me fucking crazy all the time. I'm going to take my camera off of this TV right here, and you're going to see why it drives somebody with paranoia fucking crazy. Because this is a dresser in front of me. But it's not just a dresser. It's a vanity. So at all times, I can see directly behind me. And I'm a guy who's had a lot of supernatural experiences in his life. So every time I'm looking in the mirror, like, I'm just expecting to see something in the corner of my eyes. Or, like, right behind me or something. Like, this, I deal with it because I've been dealing with shit like that my whole life. But it drives me fucking insane.
So I don't have to tell you if someone's sneaking up behind you?
No, I can see. Well, also, I mean, unless they aren't being picked up by the camera, I am looking at us the whole time right here, too. I see exactly what you see in that regard. If it's not being picked up by camera, and I can only see in the mirror, you're not even going to be able to know.
What if it's a vampire that doesn't show up in the mirror?
Well, again, that's well, can vampires be shown up in camera? That's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have to look that up. What else is happening in games?
In games or life in general? Let's see. I was looking earlier. It's really boring. What'd you say?
Said DDR5 10,000 RAM is coming out. I don't know. I mean, I guess on the high end it matters, but I've got DDR3 RAM and it works. Oh no, I guess I've got DDR4 and it seems to work just fine.
See, until you mentioned that it was RAM at first because you're kind of slipping back over yourself, I thought we were going to be talking about a new Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh. No.
But then you said RAM, it's like, oh, I know immediately what you're talking about.
DDR5 RAM. There's also, I need to get back into sort of the Intel scene because
you are technically a partner, right?
Yeah, and I used to be on all the conference calls where they talked about the latest and greatest technology and stuff. But I'm not up on the latest, and I just saw this. The Intel Comet Lake motherboard is only slightly bigger than a Raspberry Pi.
Oh, nice. Also, Mr. Squeakers brings up a good point that I always forget. Mirrors were originally backed with silver before the glass to give them their glossy property. That's why vampires didn't show up in them. They actually probably would show up in modern mirrors since they don't use silver.
Huh. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if this motherboard is specifically for laptops. Somehow I doubt you're going to put a motherboard like that in a desktop machine. I feel like you'd get...
Yeah, I mean, unless they're trying to make desktops physically smaller, which I know a lot of companies have been trying to do that. But then gamers are just like, you know, fuck you. We're just going to make a bigger board. You give us smaller stuff, we're going to fit more into this big tower.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got the room. Why not pack stuff in?
Well, they want to, because you remember what was the iMini or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Companies are trying to make smaller computers, but then the consumer's just like, okay, give me smaller parts. I'm going to put more in my thing.
Yeah. Although desktops don't really need to be as big as this one that I have here.
Yeah.
That I only just got a couple years ago, because like for instance, the solid state drives that I've got now, I have to put them in a bigger frame. I had to buy a separate frame to put them in so that I could get them on, you know, into the desktop. The desktop that I've got now, it could be half the size and still house the exact same components.
Yeah.
These drives are so tiny now.
Oh, yeah. Just means you have more room for those gigantic graphics cards that they're making. And you see how big GPUs are.
Yeah, the graphics card I've got in there is honking size big. So, and the fan is loud enough as it is. If everything was compacted, the fan would probably have to be twice as fast.
Some of these graphics cards are about the same size as the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, the one I've got is bigger.
Yeah,
definitely
it's crazy.
Bigger. Interesting. That would also be cool. Let's see, the problem is these Intel calls that I used to do, they're all under NDA. So I wouldn't be able to talk about them. So it would be cool though.
Well, you made only if you talked entirely in Pig Latin.
Oh, okay.
Everyone learns Pig Latin lets you get away with anything. I mean, that's what movies at least have taught me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting loophole. I'm surprised I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, you don't find it in any NDA.
Somehow, I think they would not invite me to any more. Even if that were true, they'd be like,
yeah. That's the only problem is like even if you found a loophole to their non-disclosure agreement, they would just stop inviting you. Because like, yo, this thing exists in good faith.
Yeah, but it would still be cool, especially because I have a friend who works at Intel in Arizona.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he would love to discuss this stuff with me because he's a big nerd just like I am. And he can't discuss it with me because I think my NDA has expired, so I need to re-up it. That stuff. Does the NDA include Klingon? Again, probably not. But if I want to be
if they were smart, they would just say, it cannot translate to any foreign language.
Yeah, probably does, actually.
Just sweepingly across the board. Just because you're not saying it in English, you still can't say it.
Yeah.
We should just we should ask a genie, because genies know more about like loopholes and stuff than even lawyers do.
That's right. I could tell you, but then I'd have to neuralize you.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot going on though in general, except for apparently Leisure Suit Larry is still all around. I didn't know that game existed anymore, or even could in the modern day.
Are they coming out with a new one?
Leisure Suit Larry Wet Dreams Dry Twice is coming out May 18th, 2021.
Indeed.
Yeah. And I'm like, how is this guy still around? You think that it's like the most cancelable game that could possibly exist.
Now, wait a minute. It says the initial release date was October 2020.
I guess, but on PC, it's coming to consoles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's already available on Steam.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It never went away.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of happy.
Woman on Steam right now.
Yeah. And I've never been a fan of Larry. Like, it's not the type of game that's attracted me. But I'm glad that he's still around. There's just something about, like, Larry's an icon of just dirty games you can't get rid of.
Yeah, but it's
pretty tame compared to dirty games, though.
It's tame because it's a comedy.
Yeah.
The poor guy never gets a break, right?
Yeah.
Like I played the original, which was kind of in the vein of King's Quest, like the original point and click adventure games, all very pixelated. But it's always been...
It held my attention. I think, like, maybe I was too young for it at the time that I played it. Because I think maybe just a lot of the comedy went over my head. I should probably go back and revisit it.
I mean, when I played the original, I think a lot of the comedy went over my head, too. Because I was like I don't know, it came out when I was like 10 or 12 or something.
Yeah, and I played it, like, years after it was already a game. Because I don't think I was... Yeah. Was I even around when it originally came out? Maybe, I don't know.
Probably.
If I was probably like an infant or something,
Yeah. But was that originally who was it? Oh yeah, Al Lowe, right?
Yeah.
Is he the guy that did Dragon Slayer, or am I thinking of someone else?
No. Well, unless he did it with Don Bluth, but Bluth was the one who did Dragon Slayer. I don't know who developed it with him because Bluth is an animator, so
I think I got those two mixed up. So yeah, Al Lowe is a different guy. So the original came out in 1987.
Yeah, I wasn't even born yet.
And I was 10. So yeah, they're silly and stupid, and they have a lot of... I'll tell you what, if you're lamenting what's happening with the Amazon in Diablo 2, I can guarantee you that the same thing is not happening in Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah.
The whole point is there's a lot of buxom ladies in...
Well, because we've had this conversation before, right? Where, like, indie for games is not the same as comparing it to other industries, because the beginning of the industry was basically indie. And it never really went away. Even though there's these big AAA, there was always some indie developers doing things at all times during the history of gaming. I think one of the things with Larry here is that they never became corporate.
Yeah.
And that's why they could just continue doing what they do.
Yeah, the current developer is called Crazy Bunch. Interesting. Although what's interesting is I'm watching the trailer. Like I said, I've not played these games in years, like maybe even decades. I'm watching the trailer. There's a lot of penis jokes.
Yeah,
but I don't see a lot of sexy women.
That's
a little troubling. Interesting. I'm a little suspicious.
If there aren't buxom women, why would you be playing the game?
What?
With Larry, if there aren't buxom women, why would you even be playing that game? I mean, I guess if you're attached to the character, but...
Are you saying if there aren't?
Yeah, if there aren't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would. But I don't know. I'm not going to pass judgment because well, number one, I don't care. And number two, I'm only just watching the trailer, and so I can't really tell. But it would be quite disturbing. Okay, now there's a pretty sexy woman there.
Okay, I haven't watched the trailer, so yeah, you watching it right now is the closest thing to a first time experience that I'm getting with it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's like the whole draw of the whole game. Is that, you know, most of the games you're like, and it's so puerile and, you know, childish, but like you're trying to like get women to take their clothes off, and like, will they, won't they? And I think
it's dirty, but I think it's dirty in the classical sense. It's almost no different than, say, like watching an episode of The Simpsons or something like that. Yeah.
It's a little bit raunchy, but like the whole joke is that this guy is such a dork and he can't get, he can't manage to pick up women, but, you know, eventually does, I guess, by the end of the game.
And then by the time the next one comes around, it blew up in his face and he's at it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he can't.
I'm not sure if there's a definitive timeline.
You know what? There should be.
I don't know, is it the same Larry going all the way back to 1987?
It should be, right? Catching him at different points in his life.
I feel like it's kind of like Mario, where
all Marios are Mario.
But yeah,
I'm telling you, there is a continuity in Mario. It's
I know, but it's
embedded.
I understand. We've talked about that. But I don't buy it. I feel like each one is just a new story, completely separate from the others, with just putting the same characters in a completely different situation. Mario is Mario.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the creators say, that Mario is Mario. Everything that is true about Mario is true about every Mario.
Yeah.
Because they don't believe in canon in the same way that we do here in the West. But, you know, a lot of our idea of canon comes from the Bible. That's where the word even comes from, the biblical canon. So cultures that don't have like a heavy Judeo-Christian influence on it don't see canon in the same way that we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rick's right. So King's Quest 1 came out in 1984. The original Leisure Suit Larry and the Land of the Lounge Lizards came out in 1987. But there wasn't a whole lot of technology change in those 3 years.
No.
I don't think. They're very similar.
Well, I mean, even look at like console games, right? How long it took for like a huge technology change. You get like a jump between, like, say, Atari to Nintendo and stuff after a while, but that's because of memory. Arcade games were still kind of the same for a while. It wasn't really until you go from the 8-bit to 16-bit era that we actually see substantial change in things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the NES was around from 85 to 90 and beyond.
Yeah.
Joshua says, what about the Super Mario Super Show? What about it?
I mean, I love the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. It's a horribly great show.
Did you know that? Do you remember the episode where they had Inspector Gadget?
Yeah. I actually have all of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show on my hard drive. I watch it all the time.
Actually, when it was on TV, I recorded every Friday, so I actually had all of the Zelda episodes on VHS.
I was going to Game Over, which is a retro video game store here in Texas. It started in Austin. We've got a couple up here in Dallas as well. I was going there with one of my buddies, and they had a TV on in the like store window playing Super Mario Brothers Super Show. They had another TV linked up to it in the back so you could watch it. And within like a second, a whole second of seeing the show, I told my friend, oh, I know this episode. That's Hercules and the Great Balls of Fire. He's like, you saw a frame. How did you know that? And we continued watching, and Hercules shows up. It's like, I've seen this episode like 110 times.
Yeah.
I love the first episode too, is where obviously they're setting all the personalities of the characters, so they have to go over the top with it. And the very first episode they ever do is they have to go and save Toad from on top of a mountain because Birdo is blind and mistakes him for her child. And as they're going up to the mountain to rescue Toad, you just hear Luigi's like, "I can't! I'm allergic to mountains!" God, that show is so great. Horrible, because, I mean, there really wasn't much information about Mario at the time that that show was made, so you can't expect it to be super accurate. But it's got, like, this childlike wonder that represents Mario perfectly. That it's great in that way.
Well, and, you know, they couldn't have picked a better person than Captain Lou Albano to play Mario.
Albano, yeah. Dude, I love Captain Lou.
I love the final Mario dance where he ends up like he ends up like this with his foot, and he has to like take the extra step like he trips or something, and they just left that in. So that was hilarious.
Yeah, no, I love that show.
Yeah,
even like one of my favorite bits is from the first episode too, because their first guest was a friend of Captain Lou's, who was Sergeant Slaughter, and he calls up like Luigi telling him that they're gonna be late, and he's like, "I'm sorry I'm late, I'm stuck in traffic on the Brooklyn Bridge." He's like, "Oh, okay, don't worry, I'm taking a shortcut." "How do you take a shortcut off the Brooklyn Bridge?" "It helps if you're in a Sherman tank."
I definitely don't remember that. But
yeah, there's two guests. The second guest was Cyndi Lauper. They had a lot of like big name guests on there too. Like I think Elvira was in an episode, and that was a good show.
So very 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Zelda cartoon came out of it. Because they give you the preview, and then
which, I tell you, I mean, do people look on that fondly? Because I
love it.
I love it too. I mean, people complain about the whole Link being a bit annoying, but
I always imagined Link was annoying.
Yeah, I found
well, excuse me, princess.
Yeah, I found that show to be like flawless. Like for its time, it was just like perfect. Because I mean, they had all the characters that you'd want, and like Link, kind of a cad, right? I mean, like the first episode, he's on his balcony and it's overlooking Zelda's balcony, so he can like see she's wearing like a nightie or something, and he's like, nice view. Yeah. Well, especially from here.
This is why I would think that Link would be a little catty, right? I would think he would have that personality because it's a logical extension to him having the Triforce of Courage. He really wouldn't have inhibitions. He would go for things, so he would have to be like a witty, quippy guy because he would always have the courage to throw that line out anytime the opportunity comes up.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Squeakers. I'm sure if he's, breaking everybody's pots, that would be annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
plus,
they didn't have anything.
Shield surfing all the way back then.
Oh, in the show, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did.
And there's that one fancy maneuver that you can pull off in Breath of the Wild. It's pretty hard to do, but he could throw out a bomb, jump on his shield, and then launch himself off the bomb while on the shield. That was back in the show, and people were like, "Oh man, we can do that now."
That's right. It actually works.
Yeah.
But that show came out, I think, after the original Legend of Zelda, but maybe even before the Adventure of Link. So they didn't even have a Triforce of Courage. I mean, there was not in that show. They didn't have
maybe because didn't those shows come out in like '89? I think.
Did they?
Well, I know Captain N was 89, but and he aired at the same time. So maybe it was 87 when they came out, because I think it aired at the same time as Super Mario Brothers 3 because they no longer had the Super Show. So I think that would have been 3 years into the run. So I think 87 and 88 were probably when the Super Mario Brothers Super Show ran. And then 3 would probably be 89. Because I know off the top of my head that Captain N aired in 89.
Well, yeah, but the Zelda episodes were from the very start.
Yeah. So that would have been back in 87. I was, for some reason, thinking they aired side by side with Captain N, but that wasn't until the 3rd season when they no longer did the Super Show.
Right. So, I mean, the game may have come out at some point in there, but
they were probably already writing that stuff before the game came out.
Yeah, and I think the Zelda only had like 9 episodes or something.
Yeah, they only ran a single season of it.
Yeah. So, it was all based on the original game, which just didn't have a whole lot in terms of
lore.
I mean, lore, yeah. Zelda wasn't in the game until the very, very end, and she was nothing. She was just a sprite of a princess. So they had to come up with these characters out of whole cloth, and I think they did a wonderful job.
Oh yeah, I think they did a great job because they were trying to look at like what traits were available for those characters, right? So we didn't know that the Triforce of Courage belonged to Link, but only if you actually read the manual, right? There's nothing in the game that tells you this because you're looking for the Triforce of Wisdom. Zelda scattered her Triforce. So we know that wisdom belongs to her. We know that power belongs to Ganon. These are the only 3 major traits that are attached to these characters. So you have to basically pull up an entire personality off of knowing that these traits are attached to these characters.
Yeah. And I mean, they came up with this idea. So it was interesting was in the show, the Triforce of, well, I guess both of them, but they mostly showed the Triforce of Wisdom. It was like an upside down pyramid.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a square, like a triangle, like it is in like A Link to the Past.
Well, we don't know that right at this point in time because all we saw was him with the filling out the Triforce on the top. We don't know what the whole thing looks or anything like that.
Yeah, so they made it into like this 3-dimensional pyramid thing that floated for some reason.
Yeah.
Like they could like tie a string around it and it would just carry it with them and it would just float behind them. I thought it was kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah. But I think they did a good job because Ganon seemed really power hungry and just wanted to kill everybody. Mm-hmm. And Zelda usually knew the right thing to do, even if nobody listened to her.
Yeah, but she was a princess, so she was able to like command some authority.
Yeah.
You know, Link didn't always listen to her, but then he always got, scolded for not doing so.
Sometimes the actual best thing to do, the courageous thing to do, is to ignore the wisdom.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it was it the first episode where like Ganon, it probably wasn't, but where Ganon's like showing Astolphos how to fight.
Yeah.
And he's like doing these punching moves. He's like, no, like this, do it like this. Oh, that was cool.
No, I'm very fond of that show.
Link never got his kiss from Zelda. That's all he ever wanted was a kiss.
Yep.
He got one from a Zelda clone that turned out to be a bad guy, but, Was she a clone?
Link's
Maybe
kind of
she
a
was
simp.
Another princess or something, but...
Well, half of the Links are kind of simps. The other halves aren't. There's like a Chad tier list to Links that can be made.
He wasn't a simp. He just wanted a kiss.
Oh, but half of the Links are, though. You can break them down. There is like a scale of the chattiest to simpiest Link.
But see, if the M in simp stands for mediocre, there's nothing mediocre about Zelda. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Well, depends on the Zelda.
Well, that's true.
They're not all equal.
Tetra.
Chad as Link is clearly Wind Waker Link.
That's the chattest Link?
Yeah.
He's like 10.
Oh, so yeah, it doesn't matter. He doesn't... he gets launched in a barrel, but, like, if you pay attention to his facial features in the scenes, he does not put up with, like, Tetra shit at all.
That's right. Pastry says she'll fight Zelda. Well, I'm telling you, if it's Tetra Zelda, she's the toughest Zelda.
Oh, and she's a pirate. She knows how to use a sword and everything.
Yeah. If you ever play her in Hyrule Warriors, she's got a sword and a pistol that she gets.
Yeah, you can get shot.
Yeah. She's good. She's good with those weapons.
As fond as I am of that show, though, yeah, simp is not actually an acronym. It's kind of become one, though. People have acronymized it.
Yeah.
But I think I like the Super Mario Brothers show better. There's more to it. It's fuller, you know?
See, they're not simps because they get the girl.
Yeah.
So if you actually
not always. Not every Link gets the girl, though.
Oh, I guess.
That's, again, I told you, there's a tier list that goes from, like, it ranges from Chad to simp.
Yeah.
We know Wind Waker Link gets the girl. Skyward Sword Link gets the girl. That's actually how I think Hyrule gets populated in the first place, or repopulated. So there's certain ones that get the girl. Some of them don't.
Well, Ocarina of Time, he gets a girl.
Yeah. It's some, yeah. Well, Ocarina of Time Link is actually pretty Chad. Like, every girl in the world is kind of falling head over heels for him.
Yeah. He ends up with Marin, right? Malin?
Malin.
What's her name?
Malin. Marin is a Link's Awakening.
Right. Well, she's kind of a simp for him, but she ends up getting, getting yeeted out of existence.
Yeah. Too bad the Windfish had to wake up.
Yeah. Well, she if you beat the game without dying at all, she gets her wish and gets turned into a seagull. So
yeah.
At least. So she can sing to other people. And poop on people, probably.
I do believe the Windfish, it's never been confirmed, but I believe it is a reference to the Lovecraftian god Azazoth.
Which one?
And Azazoth. Azazoth. It's a hard one to say. And that is like the creator.
I thought you said Astaroth. I was like, wait a minute, we're talking Raven again?
No. Azazoth. And Azazoth is the creator god in the Lovecraftian, I guess, mythos. He's eternally asleep, and all of creation is his dream. And if he were to ever wake up, creation would cease to be.
Yeah, that sounds like a direct reference.
Yeah.
Very direct.
Yeah, and it's a much older story, obviously, because, when Lovecraft was writing his stuff. Probably died before Link's Awakening was even a game.
I'm sure. Dillard is wondering if Rick Piper from Cross Comics is going to be doing the D&D episode on Sunday.
Our Final Fantasy thing. So for people who don't know, we were kind of avoiding it. We were making fun of it last time, but a stream that I would be on most nights, and even Marsupial would hop on from time to time, or at least be in the chat. Cross Comics After Dark, as well as his High Noon show earlier. Rick Piper just kind of stopped streaming. This probably doesn't mean much to anyone who's not catching this live or later on YouTube or Twitch, because we do have other places that are receiving this. But he's a buddy of ours, and you would also know him as Manly Cougar in the Final Fantasy tabletop game that we've been playing. He stopped streaming. Things were getting kind of heavy for reasons that we won't go into. But I did contact him afterwards, try to see if things were all right. Maybe give him some words of encouragement and stuff like that. And I did tell him that he was welcome to hop on the Vomitorium anytime that he felt up to it, if he still just wanted to jump on a stream or anything. And was hoping that he would still show up for the RPG, because we do enjoy him coming and playing with us. He only responded with okay, so I can't really tell you if he's going to be there or not.
Okay. yeah, I never got the impression that he wasn't going to.
I didn't either. I just, wanted to make sure things were fine.
Yeah. I mean, did this happen after last week?
Yes, this has happened in between. We have not played a game with him since then.
This week has been really long.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was earlier this week. But yeah. So I never got the impression from him that he was not going to like that. I don't think he was saying that he wasn't going to do anything with anyone ever, just that he's not doing his 2 daily live streams that he was doing for a long time. And hopefully it's just temporary anyway. I mean, God knows he needs a break. He's been doing that 2 1 to 2 hour live streams every day.
Yeah, he needs a vacation. Weekend,
for months and months, or maybe how long? A year, 2 years? I mean, geez.
I mean, I'm about to take the Vomitorium daily, but that's only going to be an hour a day. And we're not going to dedicatedly stick to the schedule. I'll try to hit it as often as possible, but one of the reasons I want to take it daily is because I'll feel much better about having to cancel an episode if we just have that much content coming out,
Yeah. Eagle says Link is 0.5% Chad.
No, I think he's probably more. On average, he's definitely way more Chad than that.
The question is Mr. John Dillard going to be showing up?
I don't know, because he's the one that's been missing it the most.
I know, he's the one who's been about 50-50. Most days.
Yeah.
How about Travis? Is he going to be there?
Yeah, he'll actually be here. Well, the fact that I'm in this room means he'll be here, because that means the guest is gone.
Okay.
So you'll have at least hopefully a fairly full party.
Mm-hmm. Well, good, because we got things to do. We gotta. I want to, and I know we don't usually discuss it that much on Saturdays, but I want to check out that damn temple. I mean, I guess that's where we're going.
Well, you have to now, because it's like one of those quests with Dana. You're on this person will leave you if you don't continue going the path that you're going.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, the last boss character we ran into, we were way OP for, just because by sheer luck. Well, the whole 99% to 1% luck, we never ran into it before.
Yeah, it was only level 10. You guys should have, if luck was on your side, fought it a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I think luck was on our side that we didn't have to fight it.
Yeah.
There was really no benefit to fighting it because I didn't.
Yeah, because it's the one that you picked of the starting calls.
So, who knows? Maybe after we go up to the north, do the temple, and head towards the other place. I forget the name of it. And come back down. Maybe we'll be ready to take on the Gargantuar.
Yeah, maybe.
Luigi gets a peach in Mario Galaxy?
Oh, that's that dumb fan theory that Rosalina's father is Luigi.
Oh.
And even if it was, that would be like a different rotation of existence from a previous cycle of their universe, of the galaxy. Because remember, at the end of Galaxy, it all gets sucked up into a black hole and it spits back out, which means it's another cycle of things.
That happens at the end of Mario Galaxy?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, I should play it on, my Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Oh, shoot. It's not available. Yeah. They killed Mario.
Those bastards.
Oh.
But it's also another example of my embedded story theory. Mario Galaxy is one of the things that adds to it. My fan theory has a lot more evidence than most other ones do. I'm onto something, and Nintendo doesn't like it. I'll tell you what.
They don't like your theory?
No, they don't like that I'm onto their deep conspiracy.
Oh, I see.
About the structure of the Mario universe. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I hope enough people show up. Though after last time, I think, Rick might want to show up because he and Flit can apparently just handle themselves together. They did fight a T-Rex and 2 Allosaurs all by themselves.
Yeah, good job, guys. Well, Flit's magic is pretty strong at this point.
Yeah, but he's like very glass cannon. If he gets hit by like anything that's reasonably powerful, he'll get popped like a pimple.
Right. Doesn't he have stronger armor though now? Just not.
Oh, okay. See, okay. Rick even says so. I almost missed it until Timothy popped it out. So I'll be showing up. He'll just record and then upload it to his channel later. Just, you know,
alrighty.
Fully able to. I don't care.
Speaking of uploading things, I just got my copy of Vestry in the mail, Vestry 2.
Oh, nice. I won't be getting mine till later because I didn't back until the Kickstarter. Oh. I did back it though.
Yeah, I did an unboxing and uploaded it to my channel, so check it out after this. Yeah, there it is. Of course, what everybody's been wanting to see.
Oh yeah,
the Sashi
I'm enjoying Vestry, and not from a biased perspective of the fact that the 2 people who work on it are my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoy it. It's good sword and sorcery if you're into sword and sorcery. It's got like very classic feel to it.
And I'll tell you what, I watched the Jason Robinson's review of Red Rooster, and interestingly, he got his copy, and not only was the cover like not even cardstock, he said it was like just regular paper. This is good cardstock. It's kind of thin, but it's definitely cardstock cover. And Red Rooster came with like bends and damage to it because they didn't back it at all. They didn't put a board.
Yeah.
This came with a cardboard backing in a Gemini mailer, and it was taped. It was in a bag, so it didn't damage it, but it was taped to the Gemini mailer, so it couldn't, move around.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be cardstock, but if your average paperweight for the inside is like 60 to 70, the weight for your cover has to be somewhere between like 80 and 100. Right. Mm-hmm. But I mean, cardstock's just an easy way to make sure nothing's going to be damaged.
Yeah, but I was just remarking. Yeah. It's astoundingly pristine.
We still got that map on the inside.
What's that?
We still got that map on the inside. Right there on the front inside cover. Dude, I love that map so much. I'm a map file.
Yeah. I love it.
A cartographile, because we don't want to use the word map for good reasons. A cartographile.
Right. Cartographile. Also, I love this full page spread where his eyes are like there's electricity coming out of his eyes. That's pretty cool right there. He needs to do, there are no 2-page spreads in this. In the next one, he needs to do that.
See, only if the story demands for it,
Yeah, I hear you.
Because it's definitely something artists in general want to do, because it's a good way to show off your art and stuff, but it may be as a writer, Pickles might just be like, hey, there's just not a way to work a 2-page spread in here with the way the story's going. They gotta find some give and take.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a short, it's a, whatever it is, 40-page, 22-page, I don't know how many. It's short, so there's not a whole lot of room for that. But I mean, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed. I'm just saying it would be also cool if in the next issue they did something like that. But they do have a full page spread right here. And overall, it came, I'd say, better than Red Rooster.
That's a pretty low bar.
Yeah. And of course the Ashcan pack-in, so that came too. Eye of Moltstein. So good job, guys.
Yeah.
I know they had a third party doing the shipping, the packing and the shipping, and whoever that was did an excellent job. So, but yeah, and it came on time. Bless you.
Thank you.
Absolutely on time and under budget. Can't wait for vestry number 3.
Oh yeah, I love the prices that they charge for it. I do want them to make more money, but I don't want them to charge more. They just need to do some other things to make people want to give them more money, or encourage people to do some like non-backed related donations to the project.
Yeah,
because
they could.
They deserve a lot more for what they're doing. But I appreciate that they're trying to keep their book within like reasonable comic prices, because it's one of the biggest problems I have with the industry is prices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can get the digital for what, $4 or something like that.
Yeah.
If you want to do digital, and that was like 11, I think. I'm like, I would have paid 20.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But I like that it's that cheap. You know, like.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be ridiculous expensive. I know these things do let you just throw donations. I might throw a little extra at them.
Yeah. I mean, they could do stickers or something.
Yeah.
Or these little cards. I don't know where mine went, but cards like this. Insecto. You know, they could do that.
By Mr. Rick Piper.
That's right. Could definitely do that. Other things. But where I'm most impressed is the fact that, you know, especially after watching that Red Rooster review, where it came all damaged and the cover was really thin and stuff, is like, this is good quality cardstock paper and absolutely flawless. Like, it came to me with zero damage. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of interesting because, like, I'm going to read it a few times and it's going to end up getting some wear and tear. But it's nice when you get it in the mail and it's 100% flawless.
Well, you know, depending on how the stock is, it may not even get that much wear and tear from reading a few times. Like, I do my print-on-demand stuff through Kablam because you can order on Indie Planet after you do a Kablam order. So anybody can buy it. And the ones that I have, I've flipped through them, I've showed other people, I've read them several times. They're still almost like I got them the first one. And they're just pretty, I think they're all, I think the whole paperweight is 80 for it. They're pretty heavy pages, but they hold digital ink, so you expect them to be pretty heavy pages.
Yeah.
And they're fine, you know.
Also, and I don't mean to turn this into like a CG stream or anything like that, but I also got a bunch of Cyberfrog cards. That I'll have to turn off. I don't know what do you call these things?
What do you mean?
It's like character cards, or
yeah, they're just like collectible trading cards. So it says on their character card. Yeah,
I got these. This is for, you had to join Ethan Van Sciver's YouTube channel, but basically just by joining, and I could join for 1 month and then stop. So it's like $5. He sent all of his members these for free. So.
See, I always called them CCs, like collectible cards, even though they are what trading cards were before there were trading card games. But trading card games have become such a like demanding part of the trading card market. The vast majority of trading cards now are for trading card games, that it almost feels like you kind of have to give a new title to the old ones and call them like collector cards.
Yeah, and they come numbered, which is kind of cool. You can see, I don't know what the first one on the deck was, but yes, these came and these came like a week after after he announced them. So Yeah, some of these guys are really on the ball and also flawlessly packed, so there were no damage whatsoever. So some of these guys, and it's funny because, saying Ethan's name in the same sentence as Shabby, but those are two examples of guys that are really, really on the ball when it comes to, shipping them out in great condition and on time. So, yeah. Shabby's not CG.
No,
He's just an independent. And I support him 100% because we're friends.
Well, I don't need anybody to have a title to support or not to support, as long as people are doing good things. I would probably support Shabby even if we weren't friends, because he's doing everything he needs to do this. Same with Pickles alongside with them. They're good to their customers. They're giving out a quality product. They're doing it on time. They are checking off every bit of the box, and they're making a story that I'm interested in because I like sword and sorcery.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did I get something recently from Rick Piper? It says, was mine well packed? I'm sure everything I got from you was well packed.
Oh, was the last thing you got from him, or are you just talking about maybe the comic in general? Did you get his coloring book?
I got a PDF of it.
Okay. Because other than that, aside from back when the Canadian Shield came out, the last thing I know you got from him was that statue.
I haven't gotten that yet.
Oh, it hasn't come yet?
Mm-mm. So whenever I get either of those, I will do an unboxing. And we shall see if they were well packed or not.
Oh, he's just asking about the campaign. I know for mine, the one that I got that he shipped, it was packed very well. And he doesn't even do a Gemini thing. He just did some foam board. But, I mean, it did the job, tightly wrapped in a package. Everything was sturdy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I had no complaints. I wasn't set up yet to do like an unboxing on camera.
Yeah.
But, I had absolutely no complaints. It's great condition. We're talking about the Canadian Shield comic. Yeah, it was great. But next thing I get, everything I get from now on, I'll do an unboxing and we shall see.
I used to do that. And then I just fell out of the habit of doing it.
Yeah. Well, I got it all set up. I've got like a thing that I clip on, and I've got my camera. I just turn it around and point it downward, and it takes 10 minutes to do a video. It's real easy.
Yeah. So. Well, in the modern day, especially with everything being shipped everywhere, right? That's just life now. So packing and shipping. That's almost like the biggest criticism of anything, right? Like, you can always criticize the product for being shit, but at some point there's buyer's remorse. What you don't want buyer's remorse on is your thing getting to you in the first place.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that, like, that's the biggest... But, I mean, that's the first thing you notice when...
It is.
You pack it. So, and I did like a mini... Like, obviously I hadn't read it yet, but I leafed through it and showed some of those pages, like that spread, that one-page spread, and... a few of the other notable pages.
Well, if you think about it too, right? It has to be important because the replacement for getting something shipped to you is, if available, going to a store and picking it up yourself. So you're basically putting the job that would normally be your responsibility. If you fucked up the package on the way home, that's your own damn fault. On somebody else, and you're like, well, it's not my fault that they fucked it up on the way to me. I shouldn't have to bear that cost.
Yeah. And I'm not particularly much of a comic book collector.
Yeah.
So it being, if there were flaws, it wouldn't really affect me that much. But when they come to me like utterly mint condition, I want to point that out and just be like, look at how perfect this is. Like, it's amazing. Because it got shipped. Well, in this case, it got shipped from somewhere else in Alabama. So
yeah.
It didn't have long to go, but if they're going across the country and they still get to you in perfect condition, then
see, I'm not much of a collector either. I've always been more of a reader, right? Like, I didn't. That might be another problem too. I never let things preserve. I lost all my stuff in an eviction at one point, but they weren't in good conditions by the time I lost it anyway. I enjoyed it. I was always like a just straight up consumer of the content. So yeah, it is really nice when any package comes to you in mint condition. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and considering the same thing happened to me basically I lost a lot of my stuff because of an eviction, and I'm trying to replace some stuff, like mostly these like Final Fantasy guidebooks.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy to get, if I can find them at all at a reasonable price. Never mind, they're not going to be in mint condition. Like, I've been looking for a Final Fantasy 3/6 guidebook because I had one. I had the original. The ones I've been finding have been in questionable condition, but I don't care. I just want it. Problem is, even in questionable condition, they're going for like $150 to $200. I'm like, I'm not going to spend on a piece of, a beat up magazine that was probably 10 or 15 bucks to begin with. I got outbid on one on eBay just today, in fact.
Well, you know what I actually do still have? I did manage to keep a good chunk of them. They've been in the same box. We call them Timken boxes because that's what it says on the side. Timken is a bearing company that makes machine parts, and my dad used to work at a warehouse / storefront that sold machine parts, so we had a ton of those boxes, and this thing is super reinforced because it has to be able to hold heavy metal parts inside of it. So it's got an internal box lining and then two folded over cardboard box bits that seal onto each side with just a line in between. Heavy duty boxes. Inside of them, even through weather with how sturdy these boxes are like well over 200 Nintendo Power magazines or so that we had growing up. And that it has to be well over. There might even be up to like 500 of them. But there's just a ton in this box. It's a pretty heavy box because, mulched paper just gets heavy when stacked together. It's basically wood at that point. And we just have them. Some of them are in bad condition. Some of them are in great condition. They're just all lined up. And I just have all of these Nintendo Power. And honestly, that's probably more so than any comic. My favorite publication that I ever had was Nintendo Power. I was a big magazine reader when I was a kid. I've always wanted, and then I had comics and articles and stuff like that for fun in there too. I've always wanted to be like a magazine publisher. Was one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to put out like a regular magazine, probably one involving fictional stories and comics and stuff. But
I was wondering what it would take to restart because they canceled Nintendo Power magazine a while back. Like, I wonder what it would to start that back up again.
I don't think they have an interest in starting back up because the magazine business, unless you have a really large established subscription base, is just a sinkhole. And as the subscription base gets smaller, they just can't justify doing it anymore. Remember, they were even splitting some of their costs by having Wizard do the printing for like the last few years of like the last 5 years of Nintendo Power. Wizards is what they did the printing with.
I find it hard to believe. Like, I feel like they just weren't thinking the right way about it, because it's like, okay, at the prices that they're selling Vestry, I'm betting they're basically breaking even, and at the low volume. But at the volume that you'd almost guarantee to get by publishing Nintendo Power, if you could use the sort of printers that these indie comics creators are using, I can't believe that you wouldn't make a profit.
Do you know how low the subscription for Nintendo Power was during most of its printing run?
No, do you?
It was $12.99 for a year, just over $1 per month if you bought it at the year. By the time it stopped, they had to over the years they had to bump it up near the end, so it got closer to $15. By the time it stopped, it was $20 for a whole year.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Really? It wasn't like
it had gotten to $19.99 for the whole year. I was paying it out of my own pocket of money I had earned as a kid.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I would charge like $9.99 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess there'd be a fewer people that would pay for that, but
yeah.
I mean, seriously, you wouldn't even need. I don't know. It would be hard to come up with one issue every month. I mean, unless you had professionals that you were paying a lot. But I mean, do it, 4 issues a year, $9.99 an issue. I bet you could make money.
Yeah, like a quarterly mag instead, because they were doing it monthly for Nintendo Power. Yeah. Like I say, I've got well over 200. That's not even close to the run of Nintendo Power, because you're getting 12 every single year over the many years. They did it for like, what, 2 decades or so? Because I think 2012 was when they stopped running Nintendo Power.
Yeah.
And my mom had it since like the beginning. We have a bunch of them are random, but we have the first and last issue of Nintendo Power in there, which have like the last one has a throwback redesign of the original cover.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing: they printed it. It was all paper. It wasn't, the cover was paper. It's all very thin, and then they sent them. They sent them. Maybe in an envelope, or maybe just did they send them in like a thin envelope?
It depends. At different times during the production life. At one point, they were just selling them with like a. Sometimes they didn't even have a board. They were selling with a board and just plastic wrap around it. And then at one point, it was literally just plastic wrap with like your shipping information in the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, for a magazine that's basically $1.50.
Yeah.
They don't really care if it gets too
damaged. Well, it was like 200 pages per mag, though, so it held its own shape for the most part. They were thick mags. Like, they were like this.
Yeah.
See, that's what I would love to do, though.
Pages.
Yeah, they were close. They averaged closer to like 170, but no, they got up to 200. Yeah. And sometimes they had stuff in them. Like they would have like a card sheet, which would like it'd be like a slightly thicker paperweight, and there would be like a card in there, for the Pokemon card something. Sometimes they'd have like an actual comic inside where the center line would be that you'd pick up. All kinds of stuff. The Super Mario World comic was done through Nintendo Power for the most part.
Yeah. And I remember when they had the, Howard and Nestor comics in there, and the Link to the Past comics.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Pastry. I don't think we have time to answer that question.
Yeah, we're getting to the end here, wrapping up. But I do want to make a magazine of my own sometime. It might have to start as an annual, and then maybe I could get it as low as a quarterly. But that's definitely, that's something for the future.
What would it be?
Oh, for X Dynamis Chaos. I've got tons of stories, shorts, and stuff. What I would put is, my idea would be 2 main stories, so like 2 full-length, somewhere between 20 to 30-page stories. A bunch of shorts, maybe some prose and some other just fun things. Fill up and just start annual and then bring it down to a quarterly.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. But with that, it's time for us to go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on the Vomitorium. I had a good time. How about you?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good show.
And once again, if you like the show, feel free to support it in any way you feel necessary, or comfortable, more so. Just any way you feel comfortable. You can donate through any of the links available. You can upvote or like or whatever it is on whatever platform you are watching or listening to this, and you can possibly share it with another friend who you think might enjoy the show. And in the meantime, we'll see you guys actually tomorrow if you come around for the RPG. We've got a new schedule that is coming up. I forgot to put the RPG on the schedule. Doesn't matter. This is the schedule for the Vomitorium. Later today, I'm going to be making some new loading screens and stuff that will have our full schedule with everything. I'll even update it in that box because I forgot to do that there. And we'll see you guys next time. And if you're on Twitch, stick around. We're going to raid somebody. Somebody, yeah. That's up to him. I leave that up to him. That's his prerogative.
Yeah. I think we're gonna raid Gulf City. He seems to be chatting about something.
Okay.
See ya.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.